Hey everyone, welcome back to the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 400. And with that, first of all, we're breaking out the old merch that is
Look,
no
it's
longer
you.
available. Yes, look at
It
me
is
and look at
me.
you. Why
Look at
am I
us a
bigger than you?
long time ago. Why are you
Always,
what?
I'm bigger than you.
Well, there's nothing I can do about that.
No, there's something I could do about it, and I haven't.
Yes.
Uh, um, Larry here,
And Anthony here.
and first of all, that was it's not often that people can see their own 10 coin salute, and that was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm being 100% honest with you. Ant sprung that up on me.
Well,
That was amazing.
technically it was a 9 coin salute. You didn't deserve the 10, so that's why you
This
got
is
the
true.
pack. That's why you got the Pac-Man sound.
Much like in life, yes, I get right to the end, and
You
it
get you
all
get
game
so
overs.
you get so close, just like we are right here. We're just a meager, measly 400 episodes into this show. We're just hitting our stride, and off you go into the sunset.
Oh, to I'll pull the curtain back later on some of this stuff. But yes, my timing as usual is absolutely terrible. But with that being said, this is it. This is we're here. Um, episode first of all, episode 400. Let's before we get
400.
into everything else, let's
Yeah.
celebrate first. Um, episode. I mean, we've been doing this. Holy cows! At this point, it's got to be like 8 years,
Eight and a half
right?
years.
Eight and a
Eight and a
half
half
years.
years. 8.5 years.
Holy Hannah.
I still remember it was in 2016, I believe, right? Was it 20? It was
Probably.
2016.
Yeah.
It was around 2016. I had um I had just moved back to Los Angeles at the time. Um
Well, we can go back even further than that.
oh, we can go back further than that. We can go
Yes,
back to
that's what
20.
I'm thinking
If we
of.
really want to go back, we can go back to 2015.
So
We,
to
yes.
yeah, kind of like the precursor to the Retro Gamers podcast, actually.
Yes.
So to I started this before me and Anthony started this. I started podcasting probably shortly before like 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before. My inspiration before I got attacked by them, but my inspiration was the podcast, which is still running today, Hollywood Babylon, with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. Kevin Smith
Hmm.
mostly being the one that got me into doing this, because he always said anyone can start up a podcast, and it's always good because you have this lasting thing of, well, at the time it was more audio before we started doing video.
Right.
Everyone can be able to hear you long after you're gone. So if my nephews want to hear it, they can. But so I started doing it. It's called More of the Same, actually, back then.
I
And I was just
remember.
doing random, yep, I was just doing random stuff. That's all it was. I was getting my feet wet in a 10-foot pool. And then Anthony, what happened was Anthony had, now I believe you had, oh, maybe this is how you started the show. Maybe I stepped on your toes here. I apologize. You moved to LA, but then you moved back because of
Hmm.
work, correct?
I moved back because of work. And actually, you are correct. The very first time you asked me
Hmm.
to join you, I was living here again.
Yeah, so
Uh,
so Anthony
but
had
it,
this.
but it was I very quickly left. So
You did. It was a short amount of time, and I
yes.
love that little. I don't even know if it was a house or an apartment, whatever, your garage that you lived in.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yes, I remember that in the middle of nowhere, New York. It
Middle
was
of nowhere,
it was a it
living.
was a it was called Millwood.
Yes, and you were literally on the other side of a fence of a like a timber company, of a
Yes.
wood mill,
Yep.
um, company, and but I
It
love
was
that
a
little place that you had.
Yeah, it was just a little. It was like a little studio. I guess for today's standards, it was probably like one of those converted like cargo
Yeah,
containers.
maybe.
That's pretty much what it was. The
Yeah,
size of it. It was like a
basically.
converted cargo container in the shape of like a studio house. It was a standalone
Yep.
studio home.
Yeah, now Amazon's selling them for like $16,000.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
yeah, that was great.
so I was doing this podcast just willy-nilly, just doing it. And so I went and visited Anthony. And being where Anthony lived at the point, he lived close to Tuxedo, New York, which is a huge Renaissance festival.
That's right.
So we hit that up. And I think that was basically after we got back from the festival, which is an awesome festival. Anthony behind his head shows that he has the Zelda. shield and swords.
Can you see it?
It does, and thankfully your settings are have been disabled on your camera, so that's good.
Yes, nothing's but yeah, because otherwise you would have followed me down.
Oh my gosh. So then we came back from the festival and I had this little actually I still have I think the original microphone that I used to use, and we recorded a very small episode of more of the same about the Renaissance Festival. So that was
Yes,
Anthony's first time doing anything like that.
it was.
And I mean, not that any of this is professional, but I was far removed from how I do things now. So you can only
Yep.
imagine what it was like.
Yeah.
And then
No,
yeah.
it was definitely surreal because I didn't even like I remember not understanding the concept of like, wait, we're just gonna talk about stuff, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, and
Yeah,
and
because I didn't
I don't
have
know.
any video. I was doing all
No, no,
audio
no,
at
no,
the
no.
time.
This
Yeah.
was all audio at the
Yep.
time, and podcasts were still kind of young. And I wasn't listening to them. They weren't like a
Hmm.
thing on my radar. So I honestly didn't know like what to really talk about,
Hmm. So
because you
we
were like,
did
oh,
that.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We did that, and then fast forward a little bit longer, and then we started talking back and forth, and then Aunt magically got the itch to be like, you know what? Let's maybe because I think we might have did one more episode of that thing where we focused on games. And then Aunt, you approached me like, you know what? This would be kind of fun to do together as something regular. And that's when
Mhm.
we recorded. I forgot where we were, but we recorded the very first episode of the Retro Gamers podcast. I remember it vividly because we had different, I used different theme songs from video games as the opening, but
Yep.
I recorded it live as we were recording. So I would hit play on my phone, record the opening, and then just go straight into us doing whatever we were doing. And
Yep.
that rolled
Yeah.
on. That was 400, including special editions, over 400 episodes ago.
Over 400 episodes. And it's funny you should bring that up because I do have the very first episode handy right here.
Do you really?
If you want to hear just the
Oh my
beginning
gosh.
and how different, and I just want to say, like, I'll precursor it. Like, I feel like I sound so awkward just because I don't know what I'm doing. And I just think it's funny. So I'm going to just play just a
Okay.
short, like maybe first minute of
Yeah,
this.
sure.
This is a nice throwback.
Actually, that's a lot better. That song's coming out nicer than I thought it would. So, yeah, I'm holding the iPhone up to the microphone, people. I'm on the road. What's going on, everyone? I'm for my non-sequential podcast that I put out on a non-regular basis, which is probably why no one's really catching on to him. But we're gonna see what we can do. I'm here with my friend Anthony again, not the regular Anthony you used to. You've heard him before on a podcast, barely, but here you're going to hear him a little bit better on today.
Yeah, I'm on the right side of the mic this
Yes,
time,
we're gonna-
so you might actually hear my voice for a change.
If I know how to upload this properly. But
Well, I have no hope in that. So.
neither do a lot of people. So we're back. Last time we were together, we spoke about. We were actually it was like in September. Went to that Renaissance Festival, and but we also touched on a little bit video games, and that's one of the topics we both like to talk about.
Absolutely.
Is video games, vintage video games. For you kids out there listening, that means going way back to probably before you were born. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, stuff like that.
Yes, when there were things called cartridges that had 8 kilobytes of wonderful fun on them.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize there's professional, there's unprofessional, and then there's that. So
Yes. Wait, no, there's professional, unprofessional, amateur,
that's true.
low rent,
Yes. And then that
ghetto,
oh my
and then
gosh.
us.
It sounded like we weren't even that sounded like it was like not even official retro gamers even yet. Sounded like I was still kind of doing mine, but we included that in as technically the first episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we count that as the first episode. And at the beginning of the show, like I cut out the 30-second intro music. You heard a
Oh,
little bit
I was
of
gonna
the
say
Zelda.
I
It was like
thought,
it was like a, no, it was a 30-second intro, and
Yeah.
somewhere in the overlap, you said, "Welcome to," I think you said, "Welcome to more of the same." Like
Okay.
the Retro Gamers podcast kind of morphed out of your
Did.
more of the same podcast.
It did
Yeah.
because I'm like, wow, I started talking immediately like that. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's. I mean,
So-
I don't know how to shut up as you can hear, but that brought back. I remember sitting there recording that.
I remember sitting in your basement This was in your
No,
basement
this was
apartment.
in your basement.
No,
You
the
go ahead.
Ren Fair one was at my place.
Yes,
But
but then you crashed. You were crashing at a relative's house for a little bit,
huh,
and
that I don't
then because
remember.
I remember their dog or cat kept kind of, I think, like circling around us or something like that.
Oh, was it? Hmm.
We've done episodes in my apartment downstairs,
No,
but
I
that
remember
first
doing
one,
them in your apartment. I don't remember doing them at a relative's house because I'm trying to
yes.
figure out which relative it would have been.
Um, I'll just upstate. I'm not trying to. I know I'm not. I'm
Oh,
being very
okay.
vague. So,
Got it. Got it.
but
All right.
yeah, yeah, that's where it was. That's where we recorded that one. And I
Wow.
forgot
Okay.
we used Tetris. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that we actually did record
Yeah. Yeah, we
that.
did that one
I
time. Yeah.
remember the ones we recorded at your place because I remember hunched over your coffee table,
Yes,
making
we had to
sure
get
that
some
we would be
microphones.
heard.
Yeah,
Yes, just to
we
make
only had
sure
one
we would be
mic.
heard.
Now you should see it. Yeah,
That
I just bought
that
brand new
would
mics too.
yeah. So when I have a hump in my old age, I'm gonna blame you for it. But
Oh
but
my
yeah,
God.
that was just a nice throwback to the very beginning
I haven't
of
heard
where
that.
this all started.
I haven't heard that in forever. That was magical.
Honestly, and you know what's funny? Like when we first started doing this, I remember always saying like, I don't know how we're going to talk about anything substantially for for a substantial
Hmm.
period of time. And if you go back to those first episodes, they're like 20 minutes, 18 minutes,
Oh, they were
25
short.
minutes.
They were
Yeah, because
very
it was
short.
like we were like, oh, well, then I don't have anything else to say, so let's just stop. And of course now like, fast forward and some of our episodes are like almost 2 hours.
They
I don't know
sure
what.
are.
And to be honest with you, once we go over the hour mark, I apologize because I always feel like we're going way too long. And speaking of long, this is probably going to be a longer
It
episode too.
might be. It might be, or
Mhm.
extremely short if we run out of stuff. But that's why I love the recording with the long, because look, we put them out once a week so people can start and stop it. That's the fun part of it.
No, no, no. That's very true. That's
And
very true.
it's funny you say that too, because there are other podcasts out there that like when they drop a new episode, it's like 2.5 hours. And I'm
Mhm.
like, whoa. And I think to myself,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, I can pause this and I can come back to it
Yeah,
later.
exactly. You never behold it. It's not like live TV or look. The
Exactly.
only thing you ever have to watch live is sports, right?
Basically.
Because yeah, outside of that, I mean, anything you can pause, download, save, whatever you want to do. Um, and listen to it later. Same thing with us. I mean, sometimes you only need to listen to 20 minutes of retro gaming at a time, or 20 minutes of us talking about retro gaming at a
Yeah,
time.
it's us talking.
Mhm.
And with the early stages, the early days, and I tell people this nowadays as well. I even told our friends over at two middle-aged guys trying to work it all out. When they approached me originally, like, yeah, we're gonna think about doing a podcast. And I tell everyone, I'm like, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Just keep trucking during those first, few episodes, or first, how long it might be. Just keep
Yep.
doing it. It's the passion. And we kept doing it. And then we were doing it. And then I think, now, did we officially start then? Because back then I was putting them out when I felt like it.
Yeah.
So, but I think you were already moved back to LA when we decided to do this weekly.
Yes, because we had done the episode. We had done like a good amount of episodes, I think, for like 2 or 3 months, I want
Hmm.
to say.
Hmm.
And then after that, I had said I'm moving back to LA. At which
At which, yeah,
I think we were both like, oh well, there's the end of that.
yeah, like, all right, nice knowing
We
you.
were like, yeah, all right, it was fun. And I don't remember how the conversation became. Well, we can still do it when I move because we can just record over Zoom or whatever we wanted. Like they
Hmm.
were, at that point they were. And again, we were just an audio podcast. We weren't doing video,
Yes, first
so it was
100
very
episodes we were audio. Yeah,
yeah. First 100 episodes were just audio, so we were able to just record it over whatever we were doing. Like you could
yeah.
have used anything to record it. And so I think we just said, let's try it. And after I moved, we just started doing it weekly and we never stopped.
No, that was it.
We never
Very.
stopped. Nothing stopped us. Me moving like 10,000 times. There was a pandemic in there. There,
It
I
was.
don't know. I don't know how many countries I've broadcast from with you.
We tried going into that. I forgot. A couple months ago, I think we tried breaking that down as
Mhm.
far as
Yeah, we did we started like counting countries that I've been to since we started this podcast. And you know what? And that's another cool thing about the show because I just think about all of those times I traveled around the world, and I was like, wow, while I was traveling around the world, we had the opportunity to not only talk about that, talk to each other from, the other side of the
Hmm.
planet, but we also got to talk about gaming in all of these other countries, like based on like the stores I went to and stuff I bought and things I brought back to you. Like, it's just amazing to think about. Like, that never would have happened had we not continued this.
It with you traveling, and I remember basically like the first time you were looking to travel or you had to travel.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was like, the time difference is going to be a pain in the butt and everything like that. But you're right. Once we got past figuring all that out, it really did open this whole new world to both of us
Yeah.
on international, which is usually mostly Japan, but all this like international gaming
Hmm.
and you experiencing it firsthand. I mean, like, do you remember like the first time, like when you stepped foot into Super Potato or any of those, like, or even just seeing the
Yeah.
Japanese gaming culture?
Yeah. Honestly, the first time I did, Super Potato was my first experience in Japan, in terms of retro gaming. And I remember walking into it because we had gone to this place in Osaka
Hmm.
called Kitchen Street, and somebody recommended it to my boss. They said, if you really like stuff for your home or anything like that, you got to go to Kitchen Street. So we took, on a Saturday, we took a train
Hmm.
down to Kitchen Street, and it's literally what it is. It is it's like 2 or 3 blocks where only pedestrians can walk, and it's just all loaded with home goods, all kitchen items, all house items, and things like that. And my boss was in heaven with that. I not so much. So I decided to look up, like, I was like, oh, are there any video game stores nearby? And that's where I found Super Potato. I was like, oh, there's a Super Potato only 2 blocks away. So while my boss was on Kitchen Street, I wandered over to
Hmm.
Super Potato, and that's how I found it. And like you said, like, I was floored when I walked in there, not just for the amount of stuff they had, but for the condition everything was in. Like, so many things like boxed perfectly as if they were brand new. It was just such a sight to behold. And then that I remember that first trip, I said to myself, I go, I'm gonna have to bring a bigger suitcase because I'm gonna have to leave space to load up. And I would load up every trip. I brought back so many
You
consoles.
really did.
I
It was
really did. I
insane.
brought back I brought back a Famicom, a Super Famicom. The Famicom disk system came back with
Yes.
me. Not to mention all the video games I picked up, all the Japanese games. Larry, I know I brought back a bunch for you. We
Oh, you
got
sure did.
we both have the Japanese version of Shining Force
Yep.
3
All 3 books.
because
Yep.
of those trips. I mean, and then and it was funny too. I think it was like the third or fourth trip to Japan when I found out that there were 2 Super Potatoes in Osaka, and they were both right next to each other. So literally, the first one I found was about 2 blocks away from Kitchen Street. The
Okay.
second one I found was on the other side of Kitchen Street. I literally just had to walk through an alley, and it was right there. And I was like, oh, I go, this one's closer. And that one was like 3 floors,
Oh, wow.
which was
Oh, I
insane.
remember
Like
you telling me about that. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
and it had the big Mario statue in the front of
Yeah.
it. It was, yeah, just unbelievable. And then there was also right by my hotel was where I found Tower Records. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember
Tower
that.
Rack, which I didn't even know was when you told me about it. I'm like, didn't they just all close?
They all no, they all closed. They all closed. They basically said screw you, U.S. and then just stayed open everywhere else. But I found Tower Records like right across the street from my hotel, and in Tower Records in Japan, there's an entire section devoted to video game music, video game soundtracks. And I just started loading up on soundtracks. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I'm just
absolutely
kind of
great.
taking a peek through here. I'm actually looking at because again, I'm going to be pulling the curtain back a lot. We both will during this
That's
episode.
fine.
And I'm looking at because I've kept everything. I think I've kept everything.
Hmm.
Even the original audio recordings, so I didn't label them properly. But
Ah,
I do see some stuff here. Anthony, Retro Gamers, Japan. Retro Gamers, St. Louis. Retro Gamers, I think there was one in Florida before you had moved to Florida for a little while, or maybe that might have
yeah.
been from Florida.
No, because
Um,
I would travel to Orlando for work sometimes.
yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
And then oh no, then it goes into the video ones that we started doing.
Well, yeah, like
Um,
we ran through it before. Like I've I've recorded from Canada, Japan, Singapore,
Yep.
China,
Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
I don't think you
Not
did from
China, Hong
China.
Kong.
Yeah.
No, Hong Kong. I think I did Hong Kong. I might have done. I don't know. I don't think I recorded when I was in Malaysia, but
That doesn't sound familiar. Yeah.
I recorded from France this year.
You did record. Yes. Yes.
I did record from France. So yeah, I've covered a few. Like if we're, I covered quite a few countries while we've been doing this show.
No, no, absolutely. Um, and we had some, and in doing it as well, when we were starting to approach, and we got our legs going with this, and we started doing it
Yep.
every week, and we figured out how to use Zoom. That's how we originally did it. We did it on Zoom.
Yep.
And it's funny because I remember early on, I think we had a conversation about, doing like the video portion of it. And I'm going to be 100% honest. Anthony knows this, so this is no secret.
Yep.
I always fought against that because I'm like, it's a
Yep.
podcast. It's not a video show. So I was always kind of like hesitant about doing the audio. I mean, the video portion of it. But when we hit 100 all those years ago, that's when we decided to do what we're doing now. And
Yeah.
that was the next evolution in what we did.
Yeah, it was well, technically it was
Probably
episode
101.
101.
Yeah.
It was episode 101. And it just so happens that I have
Wow.
that episode here.
Really? I'm not knowing that he's pulling these videos up.
No,
So
like literally you're pulling everything that I was planning to do at some point in the show later.
I'm ruining it.
No, you're not no. You're not ruining it at all because I like the fact it's coming out organically. So let's go take a look just at the open of episode 101, which was our first, which by the way, do you remember we did a countdown to this episode?
Did we really?
Do you remember the count? We did countdown graphics to the episode. You don't remember that?
That at all? No.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. You don't remember that?
I'm gonna have to go back and think about that one.
Well, wait, you know what then? If you don't remember it, I'm going to show it to you. So here we go. Again, this is just this is a memory lane episode here. You don't remember the countdown, Larry?
Oh my gosh, I do remember the countdown now. Yeah, yes. Oh wow, those two graphics.
With my lousy Photoshop skills.
Oh my gosh. Oh
yeah, we did a 7-day countdown.
Yes. Oh, those are so good. Yep. There we go. Boom. Like it.
Yep. And after that, we made it to episode 101.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 101 of the Retro Gamers. Larry actually here.
And Anthony actually here.
What's going on?
Am I here? I don't even know if I'm here.
We're both here. This is new. This is a new endeavor for the Retro Gamers. We've been live. We've done stuff like this before, but now we're on this endeavor to record every week, which means I got to look pretty at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, I got to look pretty at 7. I am 3 hours behind you, and I have to say, if I do say so, I look better than you right now at 7.
Oh, I will admit, I just threw the hat on because I didn't have time to do my hair. So
very nice.
But this
welcome.
Yes, no, and welcome everyone who's watching where we're posting this on Facebook and YouTube. And this is the Retro Gamers. If you're new to the show, Ant, you want to kind of fill them in on what they can expect from us?
Sure. The Retro Gamers is a retro gaming podcast, and now I don't know. What do you call a video cast? Do you call it a?
I think like a video podcast.
A video podcast. Well, now it's a video podcast, and we talk all video games retro, and how we determine that is still up for debate, and it'll always be up for debate. Yeah, that's what we do. That's basically it. That's it.
Oh, we were so young, so eager. Well,
so young, so dumb.
Oh my gosh. I was staring
at Pocket full of dreams.
Halfway through that, I started staring at my background on that one.
Yep.
I still have, luckily, a lot of that stuff. I still have that Hulk Hogan figure. I still have the Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2x4 signed. But there was a little piece of not equipment, but there was a little thing, if you saw, it was bright, that was behind me. And it was an NES cartridge that I bought that would rotate different cover arts of different NES games. I have since
I
donated
remember
that.
that.
Yeah, I
I
actually
remember
donated
that.
that to the to Game On, who still have it up in the Miller Place location. It's always on whenever I'm in there. It's always cycling
Nice.
through.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, look at that. I mean, and your flat white background because you had to record from your kitchen.
That's right. I was recording from my kitchen, or my dining area it was at the time because
Oh,
I
okay.
think I was using a laptop I believe in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, I do remember though, and you said it earlier. I remember like fighting tooth and nail with you about going to video because I know how much you did not want to do it.
I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I look back on it and I'm happy that that's changed and that you
Mhm.
made me do this. But yeah, I was
One of my very small, my very few victories on this show.
wow. You got a bunch of them. How dare you, sir?
Oh my gosh. But it's really good. Yeah, no. I mean, and to be honest with you, like I really feel like the switching over to video, absolutely, especially for a video game podcast. Like I really thought that it was necessary because it gave us the opportunity not just to talk about things, but to show.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
video games are all about show. I mean, and I'm not just talking about, showing off things we purchase and
No,
stuff
no,
like
of
that, but
course.
just being able to, to show video games, us playing video games in certain instances and things like that. And we just built from there.
We really did. And some of the and it's funny as we're talking, I'm also looking through, I'm trying to pinpoint exactly when the first maybe not that very first one or more the same. Well, it might be this one, actually. So
The
right
Ren
before
Fair?
yeah, because before we had our current YouTube page,
Hmm.
all I used to post everything on my page, which I'm gonna do my
That's right.
first cheap plug. Follow me everywhere at more365, MOHR365. And you can follow, I mean, we've reposted a lot of this to this pot to to our YouTube channel, but a lot of my old stuff, even the stuff before Retro Gamers that I did, it's all audio, but it's all
Hmm.
up on my YouTube channel. And I think our maybe first official, at least the first video that's labeled the Retro Gamers was June 17th, 2016.
Yeah,
We
that
we might
tracks.
yeah. So
That tracks. So that 8.5 years.
and it didn't get long until we hit our first major running topic, not joke, but topic is when they announced the NES Classic.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many episodes we covered on that thing.
Because it was so new to us. And we're like,
Yeah,
Nintendo's doing something like they're recognizing,
something
like,
weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
like they're recognizing going back in the day. Like, what is
yeah,
this? And we almost every week was something new about it until the episodes where we went to go pick them up. Well, I did. I think you
hmm,
had a different we had our Super Nintendo one was a whole different ball game that we can get
yeah,
into. But the NES
yeah.
adventure to get that classic.
Oh man, because yeah, no, I missed out on the first one.
So did I.
I remember because I was at work when I got a notice that the Amazon truck was going to be near my job and it was going to have the NES Classic, and that's how I got it. I reserved it on the Amazon truck. I don't know, did I reserve it or just run over there? One or the other. I think I reserved it and then ran over there and got it. But I did not get it in the store. I
No,
got it off the truck.
I did get it in the store. I was actually on jury duty, and
Mm,
it was right around Christmas time, Christmas of 2016.
yep.
And thank God I was on jury duty because it was the only way that was able to get me to be able to get to Best Buy out here in Westbury.
Yep.
And I remember I lined up at midnight, may, maybe shortly thereafter, maybe not midnight. I might have lined up shortly thereafter. No, I did midnight for the Super Nintendo one.
Hmm.
And I remember I got online because the judge was like, "Look, we'll meet." I think it was like maybe it might have been like the 23rd of December. Like that's how close
Hmm.
to Christmas it was. And the judge is like, "Look, we're gonna start at like 10 a.m. tomorrow." And I already knew that, Best Buy was releasing the NES Classic. It's like, oh, good. I have time to get there. And I remember when I showed up at like 5 a.m. or something to Best Buy, there was already a line. I was like number like 40 something or something like that.
Hmm.
Like the cutoff was close. And I got it. got the game, the NES Classic, and then I had to like run over, drive. Luckily, the courthouse was right up the block, so ran to court. I'm like, all right, let's put this guy in jail. I want to go home. I want to play
Yeah, it's
some
like
classic
I gotta
games.
play my classic.
So,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, no, that was like the first, yeah, our first recurring
I
thing.
remember. And then I also remember one of the other ones I remember fondly that I know you don't because we would joke about it all the time. The Retro Freak from Japan.
Ah, yes,
So,
that's oh my God, that machine never worked.
well, it never worked for you. It worked fine for me. But what I remember about that was I was in Japan and I went to this mall and right near my hotel and went down into like the second basement because it was like it was one of those big malls
Yeah.
had like 10 floors, and in Japan like every floor is like themed.
Hmm.
So like there's a book, there's a floor for books, there's a floor for restaurants, there's a floor for stationery, and it was the sub basement that was the floor for like electronics and toys.
We'll send the nerds
Went
downstairs.
Yeah, basically send the nerds into the not even the basement, the sub basement. We're going second basement. We're beneath
You,
even the
you,
basement dwellers.
you need a key just to get the elevator
So,
down there.
yeah. So I remember going down there and I was looking at the video game section because I'm like, oh, I was like, what can I pick up to take home with me? Granted, I couldn't pick up anything new
Mhm.
because I didn't know what would play on my systems at the time.
Yeah.
But there I saw the box for the Retro Freak, and I had no idea what it was. And I just looked at it and I said, oh, I was like, this thing plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, da 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 da. And I kept counting, and I'm like, this thing plays a lot of stuff. So I got in line because I asked somebody, I said, where can I buy this? I
Mhm.
said, oh, get in this line. And there was a line of like 6 or 7 people. So I got in line to pick it up, bought it. I bought all the attachments with it so I can play all the handhelds and stuff like that. The next day, my boss and I went back because she was like, oh, she's like, I think my son would like this. Let's go back and get another one. So we went back and they told us, they said, oh, no, 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 no. Those all sold out yesterday. It
Wow.
turns out I was there the day they first went on sale.
Oh man.
My timing was impeccable because they had sold out. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing because I was even waffling about it because of the price. And my boss is like, when are you going to be here again? And I said, yeah,
That's
you know
true.
what? You're
Yeah.
right. That's why I bought it. And then I was there again like 10 more times. But, but it was just great getting a hold of that. And then of course, naturally you ordered yours a couple years
So
later for a lot more money.
a lot more money, which is usually the case.
Yes.
That's something else we can talk about in a little while. But yeah, no, you told me about this and you sold me on it quickly. You like it plays NES, Super NES, Nintendo, you know what I mean? Genesis, Master System with an adapter, Game
Turbo
Boy games,
graphics. Yeah.
TurboGrafx. That's really what sold me
Yeah. I
because
know the turbo. Yes.
We neither one of us had a TurboGrafx growing up, so
No.
that was big. So I'm like, all right, let me order this thing, and I'm pretty sure I ordered it. You didn't get it for me. I think I ordered it from Europe
No, no, no. I asked you if you wanted me to get you one,
because I
and
was
you all,
debating back and forth on it.
yeah, and you kept telling me no, and then one day you told me, oh yeah, I ordered it from Europe, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, because I think at that time I started buying the Hyperkin systems.
yes,
And I remember the first Hyperkin system was the Hyperkin HD, which played NES games, and that
hmm
was I'll get back to the Retro Freak now in a moment. And the Hyperkin HD one, I think they called it, or whatever it is now, was the first clone system I ever bought, and it played again NES games. I'm like, oh,
hmm
this is cool. Now I can start playing these games again because I didn't have my NES. Again, told it many times before. Hurricane Sandy came in and 8 feet of water in a 9 foot basement in my parents' house and took out everything that I had because I had my
yep,
game systems, short of like my handheld stuff. So, is what it is. It happened. So I remember getting that Hyperkin. I'm like, there, oh my God, I'm playing Batman. I'm playing Batman on the NES for the first time in decades.
hmm
And then I think we actually did. Oh no. All right. Like I said, this is free flowing because everything's coming to me
yeah,
now. So,
it's
all
all
right.
good.
So I was playing. All right. So I got this system. That's then when I discovered Game On out here on Long Island.
Yes, yep.
Went out to Game On and I picked up a game, Contra, something of the Red Falcon. I don't have it readily
Was it
available.
NES or Genesis?
No, it was NES because it was the
Yes.
first ROM hack I ever bought
Got
on a
it, got it.
cartridge.
Okay.
It's a fun game, but it is super, super like Contra's hard to begin with. This is harder than that. Like the first
Hmm.
level is as long as like the first three levels. In any event, it was one of the first times I went on to stream it. So I went on to stream it. And I remember someone going, "Oh, the music is really cool on this. It's slowed down." Like, what are you talking about? It's slowed down. I haven't played an NES cartridge in decades at this point.
Hmm.
So I didn't put two and two together, and this is, I think they fixed it since then, but whatever. The Hyperkin, it played emulation and it really didn't do it proper, which is why I
Got it.
think my Batman was more purple than blue or blue than purple. And I
Right.
didn't realize it. And yeah, the music was a bit slowed down. So I'm like, oh, I need a new system. Hence, you talk about the Retro Freak. I'm like, this is perfect. So then I ordered the Retro Freak from England with the adapter to play Game
Yep.
Gear and Master System and stuff. And then unbeknownst to me that the Genesis port just completely didn't work at all on the system. And in my infinite wisdom, not even, it was gonna cost me like $100 to mail it back to
Yep.
England. So it's right now somewhere on a landfill in Staten Island, probably even all these years later, because like screw this. I could not get
Cool.
that cart or the adapter into the
Yep.
Genesis port for the life of me.
Well, and I will say this, the Genesis port on the Retro Freak is tough. Like even my
It was on
games,
the
like
original Genesis.
no, it was right. I have like even on my Retro Freak, like I gotta force those cartridges in there. Uh, I really do. No, I really do. It was always a struggle, but once you got the cartridge in, it worked fine.
Well,
So
good for you because I started
yeah,
breaking out a tape measure. I'm like, this maybe
no,
just
I
not
know.
lining up.
Well, your loss is maybe your garbage man's game. Maybe they picked it out of there. They have it at home. They're like, this is the best system ever.
Probably right.
What idiot threw this out?
Who needs a Genesis when I have every other system?
Yeah,
Um,
but I do remember that. Yeah, the Retro Freak fiasco is definitely one of the more entertaining ones over the last 400 episodes. And
it, yeah.
before we get talking about a different topic, I do have a couple of other things that
Oh,
we're going to be doing throughout the show.
okay.
So, and I'm going to interrupt you at times, and
That's
we've
fine.
already gone long enough where I'm going to interrupt you now. But with this being your last episode, I couldn't be the only person to give you a send off.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to
So,
start crying. Okay.
so I'd like you to pay attention to the screen and take a look at this.
If it's my mother.
Hey Larry, wishing you the best of luck, but unfortunately got some bad news for you. That is the fact that you have you looked at your contract for the Retro Gamers podcast? Because I'm pretty sure that your contract states that once you leave, that you forfeit all of your retro games split three ways between Anthony, myself, and Jack. So we wish you the best of luck. But I'm gonna tell you, I think we're kind of glad the fact that we're inheriting, because you're not gonna need them anymore. So if you don't need them anymore, we're very happy to take them from you. But no, in all seriousness, best of luck to you, and we wish you good with everything that you've got. All right, dude. We'll see you around.
Hey Larry, just wanted to take a moment to say thanks for making this podcast something special. 400 episodes is nothing short of amazing, man. It's sad to see you leave, and we're going to miss you, your passion for all the things retro, sharing your life with us, and all your weekly purchases, and for all the Hyperkin sponsored ads. We know you'll keep leveling up in whatever you do next, man. Wishing you all the best in your adventure. Take care, bud.
Oh, Rich and Jack. Oh, good. Jake Jack.
Jake Jack. Jake Jack. I still remember when we met and you were just like, wait, that's not
I was
his name is
so
spelled wrong.
confused. I couldn't figure it out. What is this extra letter in his name? What
Yes.
is this? That was very sweet of them. Yes, that's, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Again, truth be told, we had all this stuff. We had stuff planned to actually have all four of us together. But life finds a way to get in the way.
Yes. Yeah, life gets in the way, and when life gets in the way, it's usually on my end where it gets in the way, and in this case, it was all me.
That's all right. But nevertheless, thank you very much. Yeah, this background will be changing soon. I'll get into that later, but funny enough, Rich, since I started all this, you should see the contracts that I've whipped up for this show, for the better half, for the Yin and the Yang podcast.
You
Trust
mean
me,
the
my
lack of
lawyers,
contracts?
oh, very much lack of contracts, and um, thereof wiping me clean of any wrongdoings of anything going on. And Jack, funny enough, mentioning Hyperkin, which I think is hysterical, because I did
Yep.
not know that was coming. Very, very sweet of the two of them. And actually, two friends, I call them friends now, met through the show. So through
Yeah.
you, through the show, Rich, actually, Rich was on our first ever, like, I guess, what do you want to call it? On location episode.
On location episode at what was the name of the
Barcade
Barcade at
in Brooklyn,
Barcade? Yes,
in
yes.
Williamsburg.
And
It was,
it was an audio episode.
yes, it was. It wasn't. Yeah, I don't
It
know how
was
we
an
would have
audio
pulled off a
episode.
video on that one.
Yeah, I remember us sitting at that table in the back,
We were.
and you had all of the equipment like out. It was such a mess.
It was a total mess, and it still is nowadays. But yeah, no, Rich, his wife Trish was there,
Yes,
and oh, Frankie was there as
Frankie.
well, good
Oh,
friend of
Frankie.
ours, who
Yes,
we've known before, unfortunately.
yes.
But no, and I met Rich that day, and Trish as well. Both of them a wonderful couple, with their bouncing baby boy now, and
Mhm.
but it was very cool. And I think, was that kind of the first time you reconnected with Rich in a while, or
No, no, no. We
because
had
you
reconnected.
knew him growing up?
Well, we went to kindergarten together.
Okay, so you really knew each other growing
Yeah,
up.
no, no, no.
Okay.
We go all the way. We go all the way back.
Okay.
We go all the way back. But no, no, no. I had reconnected with him, I think, prior to that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We had started reconnecting actually on Facebook, and then, when we started doing this, I had invited them out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun doing that from Barcade. And
I loved Barcade.
I might still have a few of those tokens from that episode, from that show.
I just, like 2 weeks ago, threw out about 20 tokens from my car. And they were the Barcade tokens for Los Angeles, not for.
Oh, what does it matter?
Well, I'm in New York now. It's like I'm not gonna go back to the Barcade. I'm not kidding you. Like those are Barcade tokens from like 2019.
I would have. I could have.
And not only that, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember that the creator they were giving out like signed Tetris sweatshirts or something at one point?
I wanted to kick you in the butt for that one. Because not for me, that was all for you, my friend.
No, I know. And you had, I don't know, there was one there waiting for me, and I never went back.
Well, beyond you, a friend of mine works at Barcade, and he was kind enough to let us set that up. And when they opened the LA Barcade, Alexei Patronov, I still can't say his name, creator of Texas. Yes, the creator of Texas.
The creator
of Tetris was there doing an autograph signing, which you can add now to your list, Ant, of autographs, major autographs that you've missed out on. But I'm like, Ant, just go. I know you don't drink, but it's a bar, it's an arcade. Go have fun and meet him. And then you're like, I couldn't make it. I was like,
No, but there was an autograph. There was an autograph something waiting for me there.
It was more like a T-shirt, actually, to be honest.
It was a T-shirt, I believe.
But still, yeah.
But by the time I think by the time I made it to Barcade, it was like a year later. Because I did go there like 2 or 3 times during that stint in LA.
Yeah.
Whichever stint that was.
And we're always grateful to Barcade for allowing us. I mean, they don't know who we are, but for allowing us to do that on location that we did for the first time. And I mean, we had a blast playing all those games in there. Such a great time. I've been to like 3 or 4 of them. They're actually opening up a new one in the financial district in the city.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
They're working on that. That's like the 5th one in the city. I'm like, let's get out here to Long Island.
That's
I will
crazy.
spend all my money on the drinks, on the beer, and then maybe a couple of games.
Yeah.
I remember
once you get once you get enough drinks in you, you'll spend plenty.
Oh, I'll just be playing Tapper all the time. I remember I went, my dad's friend was in town, and without getting into it, because it's like kind of like he knows her, who knows him, who knows her.
Yeah.
the adults, my father and his friend, knows the father of my friend who works at Barcade.
Mhm.
So we went to Barcade, just kind of visit, for them to see the family or whatever. And I remember I'm like, my dad's there and he's drinking. I'm like, Dad,
Yep.
do you want to play anything? He just looked at me. He's like, no. I'm like, okay. He had fun having a good time though. I'm not gonna lie about that.
That sounds about right.
That's him.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so Barcade was awesome. And talk about some of the places that we've discovered because of the podcast. So
Yep.
Barcade was one of them again, and I've been to a couple of them in the city. I went to the one in Philly.
Hmm.
I went probably Philly was the furthest one I went to.
Yep.
And then out in LA. Now I don't know if you started going to Game Dude and everything before. Well, no, we were already doing the podcast when you were in LA. So like
Yeah, but I found Game Dude before
okay.
we started
Okay.
doing the podcast. Yeah. Yeah, Game Dude was the first place the first like retro game store I had found, and I went there a lot in the beginning. I really did in my earlier days in LA
Hmm.
pre-podcast.
Yeah, I ended up discovering Game On out here on Long Island.
Yep.
I don't know how they popped up in my feed, but they were selling a refurbished Game Boy, actually.
Do you still have it sitting there?
Damn it.
All right, he's looking for it.
There it is. I got it. I got it.
Yep. Uh-huh.
This very Game Boy. So they had these refurbished Game Boys. It never
Hmm.
came in this color, so the shell is new. And this is where I started learning about the modding community.
Hmm.
I really didn't know. I knew some of the modding community where just like turning a PlayStation to play, from a SD card as opposed to putting CDs in. But like to
Yep.
go all out and replacing the shell of a Game Boy,
Yep.
there's a brand new screen. I mean, it's scratched up over the years, but
Of
there's a
course.
brand new screen in there. It's also backlit. This one, there's no batteries in it, but it was the backlit that actually sold me on this.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, let me head out there. And then like I'm halfway into the trip, I'm like, oh, this place is an hour away. Why didn't I realize that? But that's never stopped me all these years later.
Nope.
Of course, becoming friends with Tristan, the owner,
Hmm.
and of the store. And yeah, this is what got me starting going there. And then that's where I saw the Contra ROM. That was the first one that I picked up there,
Yep.
and God only knows how much money later I've spent there. And I mean, honestly, this whole collection
Hmm.
behind me is 95% Game
Yeah.
On.
Well, do you remember the contest, the very first contest
I
we
was
did for
just thinking of it.
the first year, where the contest was whoever spent less money
Yeah.
within the year won the contest, and we had done the math, and I think you had outspent me by like at least
Oh, I
triple.
blew you out of the water.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you spent at least triple the amount. Um, and I'll always remember that because that's how I got my hands on the Virtual Boy. And
That you did.
what a moment the Virtual Boy was. I mean,
That
that was
so there's a lot of people I should probably not thank because of the abuse that I grabbed on this podcast with the Virtual Boy.
Oh,
Let's talk
really?
let's talk about that for a little while. Um the Virtual Boy. So
Oh,
leading
wait, I
it
can't. You know what? I can't talk about it like this.
what do you oh what? What is happening? Look at this. I'm the one who's leaving. Anthony just upped and left. The Virtual Boy is
There's
a
there is
standard.
only one way. There's only one way to talk about the Virtual Boy,
Oh,
and
what
it's
the
when you're wearing
I didn't realize you bought that shirt as well.
the VD Suck shirt.
Oh, yes, folks, we had merch for a little while. Yeah, well,
Once
you and
upon a
only one other
time.
person bought that shirt.
And speaking of that one other
What?
person, I
No
think it's
way.
time. I think it's time to go to another video.
Oh no, I don't want to see this one. No, I'm kidding.
How dare you, sir? To quote you so many times on the show. How dare you leave your own show? I don't know what the word is. Ironic? Maybe not. But I could totally understand why. All good things do come to an end. Thank you for letting me guest host all those times. It was very enjoyable. And one of the good things about you is the fact that when you do as a host, there's no pressure. It's just a bullshit session, and that's how it should be. You make everyone comfortable, and every time you see Mary, you're always cool with her. So, first time I saw you, of course, I swiped the Virtual Boy from the desk, and you accused me of breaking it, which I didn't, so hence this. However, since you are leaving the show, whereas the Virtual Boy is your favorite console, God knows why, whereas Anthony and I have tortured you long enough about your love of the Virtual Boy, whereas Anthony created the VB sucks # because it's not a hashtag, and whereas I ran off with it and just started the trend, I now declare as Emperor of Brooklyn and the Slate Belt, as decreed by the Emperor Emeritus of Brooklyn, the Oranges, and Newark, that the term VB sucks is now retired from the lexicon. The only exceptions will be whenever I decide to use it because, hey, I'm allowed to. But thank you for 400 great episodes, and we'll listen to you around.
First of all, when he halfway through that, all in my head, I'm envisioning the tax collector from Popeye the movie. Whereas when the house,
Whereas
whereas the tax, whereas a sundial tax.
Oh my God.
Oh, Charles. Well, first of all,
good old Charlie.
I am very happy to hear that the hashtag VB sucks is finally retiring completely. We haven't used it in a long time, but it's officially being retired. So I'm very happy with that.
Well, actually, after he sent me the video, I contacted him and corrected him and told him, I said, no. I get to decide what gets retired. We're not retiring that.
Oh, dang it. Boo.
Well, how can I retire it? I still have the shirt.
It's very easy. No, shirt looks good, my friend. Yeah, no.
Still fits. I'm happy.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
it's all that matters.
I hear you on that. Yeah, no, the Virtual Boy has long, that was our, I mean, to a point where we actually just like sat down, like, look, how long we're gonna run with this? Like, this is becoming its own entity now with the Virtual Boy. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
And again, all those years ago in 1996 or 95, when it came out, I bought it. I was there. I was all in on the Virtual Boy. This is not a lie. This is the God honest of all things we've done on this podcast. The most truthful thing that we can ever talk about is my love and your disdain of the Virtual Boy. This is fact.
Yes, absolute fact. And it's rooted in history. It's rooted in the day you brought it to my house, put it on the dining room table, and told me this was going to be the best thing I've ever played.
Game changer.
Lasted, and it was a game changer. 30 seconds later, I took my head out of it and said, "This is awful."
It really did. I remember I set it up. I'm like, Aunt, watch this, and then I just stuck my head into it and started playing. Not like you can see what's going on. You just looked at me, hunched over the table. Playing, just having my head in this red headset. And then, you played it, and it wasn't 30 seconds. It was probably Mario Tennis. I don't remember which game exactly.
It was Mario Tennis.
And you were like, this is terrible. This isn't going to last. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
It was absolutely terrible.
And only months later. But so that Virtual Boy, to the point, where, I mean,
do you still have it? Because
all
I have
years later.
Yeah.
Do you? Because
yes, I do.
This is a birthday present, mind you.
This was a birthday present for Larry,
which I still have.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we're gonna watch in a few moments.
Yes, we are.
And I can't think of a better way to wish you a happy birthday
than
than fulfilling my promise from last year. Here we go.
Oh God, no! No! Oh, that is a lot of plastic. Wow, it's having a little trouble getting through there. See how heavy it's made? Oh no, but going through now. What, this piece is coming out of the middle. Oh, make it stop. Oh no. Wow, actually, I give you credit. You saw it right through the middle of it. It didn't hit the eyes. Oh. What is... face right now with this. What's going on? And the two oranges in the background on the trees are annoying me.
Well,
Electronics and all.
Electronics and all. Well, look, now we can see the inside of the Virtual Boy, and I think, you know what? I think the warranty is expired with the barcode. What do you
That's
think?
it. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Actually,
I think it might be done.
kind
But how about if I go inside it?
There we go.
Here we go.
Oh, beast!
Ooh, I'm getting pieces. Ooh, I think I lost the chip. There's the
What?
3D.
What,
There goes the 3D.
what was that? That was the lens. Oh my god!
There we go.
Oh, you cracked it like a lobster. Oh. Oh, you had to? That last piece?
I think it's officially dead.
Oh, this is gonna be good. One shot, wonder.
I'm going to try.
Go ahead.
Oh!
Ooh, wow, that flew. Okay.
Cracked it like a
Almost
nut.
done.
Ugh.
I
I consider that dead.
I think that's dead. So, Larry, happy birthday. There it is.
To this day, to this day, the fact that neither one of you cut your fingers off during that process amazes me.
Oh, let me tell you something. I am not good with tools, so I'm very surprised I walked away with all 10 fingers.
Yes, I still have these are the actual pieces broken off. I still have the original shipping box.
Which is awesome.
And no, you definitely did some damage to this. From
Link
like
wants to
30th?
say goodbye. Link wants to say goodbye on your 400th episode.
Look how he actually opened his eyes a little bit though. And he's going back to sleep.
He's like, I just woke up, leave me alone.
It's like, you're leaving? Good. Take him with you as well. Oh,
Look at that Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy. But no, I've kept it this whole time. 38th birthday. Wow, that makes me feel, that hurts. 44 now, so
yeah, let's not go into that. But I have to say, like, you were a very good sport. You gave me a Virtual Boy, and then endured its destruction for your birthday.
$2,800 I spent that year. I hope my mother's not watching.
I know you spent a lot of money.
I went nuts.
You did. Well, but you also have to remember. You have to remember, just for context, at the time, we were really just getting into our stride with the show. And you were just starting to rebuild your collection, so you were just going all out. Like
I was,
because I still had mine. I was just adding to mine. You were building for basically scratch.
I basically had to, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, again, like I said, because of the storm, the hurricane, and
which, by the way, I'm sending you shipping boxes to send that collection my way.
yeah, I don't know what Rich was talking about, so we're gonna have
per Rich, as part of the contract, it's like, I now own everything behind you that's a video game. You can keep the autographed ones on the wall. I'll let you have that.
Oh, thank you. Who's getting Spice World?
The trash heap, I guess.
No,
it can go with your Retro Freak.
No.
And by the way, that wasn't the only contest you lost, because if you remember, we did a 2-year game completion challenge.
I think it's more accurate to say there hasn't been a contest I won.
That's very true. But we originally had done a pandemic challenge.
We did. We had
2020. Right. And then we let it bleed over into 2021. Mm-hmm. So we did a 2-year challenge, and I just so happened to have the graphic here.
Oh, do you?
You how many games you beat and how many games I beat.
Oh, that was that challenge. Yes.
How many games you beat? Because this is probably the only record you have of completing video games. Because I remember you used to never complete games.
I never. It was terrible.
Yeah,
Wasn't shortly after that I started doing. But yes, this was also the fact that was, even though we were all stuck in the house for a year and a half, I remember you telling me like you had to take a work trip somewhere, and magically you finished like 15 games on the airplane.
Oh my God. Yeah. I want to say like the last, you see all the NES ones at the end from 18 to 23. Yeah. That was like December trip in 21 where I just cleaned house. I just started going through all of those and I'm like, oh. And the arcade ones up top where like Captain Commando, like 7 through 11, that was a group gaming night with Rich and Jack. We just plowed through the whole. That was the Capcom collection. We just plowed through.
Oh, there's my you don't have to put it. Don't put it back up. But I just saw the my back to back Metroid.
Yes, your Metroid run. Yeah, which was great. You did a great Metroid.
That was
run.
so much. Oh man, Metroid Dread was so amazing. And then that's when I kind of got like I got the bug to play Metroid, and I just went nuts on it. To the point where I have to restart Metroid Prime Remastered, which is going to
Well,
suck.
you know, what was great about that game challenge, and I really wish we continued with like the annual contest because it really gave me a focus to no, it did. It gave me a better focus to complete stuff because that challenge I got to cover a bunch of games I always wanted to play through that I never did, which included Rondo of Blood, the first Goonies game, the Japanese only version, which I bought.
Which I'm shocked at. I've always heard that was a tough one.
Yeah, and I got through it. Dragon's Lair, I played through, and I don't remember if I ever completed it before. And Grim Fandango, which I absolutely love. Such a great game. That was also at the time I got my hands on Shadow of the Colossus for the first time.
Oh, beautiful game!
Beautiful game.
That redo it for the PS5.
Yeah, that remaster for the PS4 was amazing.
So, no, it is. It's beautiful. Yeah. But now, like, well, I don't have a Pro, but I can only imagine if they redid it for the PS5 Pro.
Oh, on the Pro, it would be absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, but I will say I'll miss the contests. They were really fun.
Well, what about the other contest that you ended up getting the JVCI or whatever that thing's called? The hybrid
the JVC
Genesis
XI?
XI, yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was that one contest of like who can
get the most obscure system.
Who can get the most obscure, just the most obscure item, I think it was.
No, I think it was more of a system than anything. Whatever it was, but
whatever it was.
Late January, you pulled out Find That Thing. I'm like, well, I don't know what I could do. So
yeah, because it was January. It was my trip to Missouri. Actually, you brought up the Missouri location earlier.
Oh yeah.
But it was my trip to Missouri where, I found it in a store, and I'm like, I was like, I got to pull the trigger on this thing because I had never seen it before. Like I had never seen it before, so I was like,
I've seen it like in magazines, but no, I never. Like my go-to hybrid would have been a CDX. Oh my god, if I ever get my hands on a CDX, even not to play it.
There's somebody right now on Facebook Marketplace in this area up here that that has it posted as a Saga CDX, SAGA. And I'm like, but they're also selling it for like $350.
Actually, I've seen that,
which isn't bad.
500, yeah.
No, which isn't bad, but it also looks it's got enough wear and tear on the top of it that I'm a little concerned.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
But yeah, like the contest, I'm definitely gonna miss doing the contest with you, even though we haven't done one in a while. They were always a lot of fun. And then to pull the curtain back a little bit, there was a time when we were going to start doing like a showdown series where we would be playing just against each other in various games.
That's your seventh move in the history of the podcast. You finally, your final leap was the leap home back to Brooklyn, and we thought, okay, so Anthony tells me I'm moving back to Brooklyn. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm on Long Island, but Brooklyn's not far from Long Island, and he was only mere minutes from my parents. So very close. What could have been what we had planned to do would have been monumental.
Yeah.
Blink, like a year and a half passes by, and Ant's like, "Oh yeah, I'm moving." I'm like, "What? Wait, what happened? What happened to our plans? What where did everything go wrong?"
Well, no. But what do you mean? Where did everything go wrong? I was in Brooklyn for a year, and I think we only recorded in person like twice.
We did. It was terrible. And it was not like we didn't want to. It was just, again, timing.
It was literally like when I lived across the country, we did the same number of episodes in person than when I was in Brooklyn.
We really did.
So it just was it just wasn't meant to be.
That's true.
It was, it was one of the. It was a great idea that we had. Unfortunately, it fell by the wayside. But It would have been fun to do. And who knows? Hey, I know this is it for you with the regular weeklies and stuff. But like I said, like I do think you're still gonna pop your head back up here and there. And when you do, we'll figure out some cool stuff to do.
We'll do something. Yeah, I
We
might
definitely will.
venture back up there where you are one day. Who knows?
And if you do, we're just gonna have to record all day.
Absolutely.
So,
There's got to be some sort of pay-per-view that goes on up there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, you missed a couple of TNA shows up here. I think.
Well, that's what got me to LA.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Larry only comes to visit me when there's a wrestling event.
Totally. I
is
didn't
how it
put
is.
two and two together. Just so happens that I
Yeah.
visited Anthony 3 years in a row, and just so happens that
I
SummerSlam
know.
was in whatever it's Staples at the time.
Yeah, Survivor Series, I think. It was Survivor
No, that
Series.
was later on. It was
Oh,
first.
that's right.
It was like
it
2 or 3
SummerSlam, then
SummerSlams in a
that's
row
right.
because they had
That's
SummerSlam
right.
out there like 7 years in a row.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, because I think the first SummerSlam, I went to the SummerSlam the year before I moved back to New
Probably.
York. Yeah, it was the year before I
Probably,
moved back
yeah.
to New York. And since we're talking about wrestling a little bit, I've got another video to share with
What?
you.
Dominican Stone Cold, they say, what's up, world? It's Flexo here. Just want to wish Larry in his new journey all the best. Such a good guy, a good friend. We always keep in contact, you already know. And we definitely will be hitting up those arcades and those stores, you already know. But just want to wish you, man, good, successful, everything, bro. Your whole life, everything. To wish you the best, always. Here at Flexo Productions, we appreciate everything that you have done with us, for us, with me. You know what I'm saying? And I love you, bro. All right? So, peace.
Madman from Queens, Felix Flexo
Oh, my
Production.
gosh.
You've never had a chance to co-host with him. It was never the three of us, right? We saw him at the Retro Expo.
We saw him at I think the Retro Expo might have been either the only time or no, I think there might have been one episode where the three of us were on.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It might have been one. Because I remember a finally moment between the three of us. So
That
might
have been the expo, though. I hate to say it.
It might have been the
because
expo. I don't
he is
remember
just a
100%.
whirlwind of chaos, and I love him. I absolutely do.
The energy he has is just unparalleled. I don't know how he does it.
I do, but the energy that he possesses.
We're not going to get into that here.
No. He's Felix, great guy, known him for a long
Amazing,
time.
absolutely amazing.
And he's done a lot of stuff, as with the co-host a couple times on the podcast. So much fun to work with. You think it's tough to work with me because I'm so off the cuff? Me trying to match him because I don't even know where he's going half the time. Is so much fun. But you know what? Co-hosts. There's been, look, we might have been here for 400 episodes, but me or you never really have not been here for every episode. A couple times
That's
we've had to
true.
step away.
That is true.
Just talking about some of our friends who've been able to step in for either one of us over the years. And that's what I love about podcasting. That's what I love about this podcast as well. Being able to, I'm not going to say stay in touch or reconnect or anything, but, having our friends on the show, Jack, Rich, Felix, my buddy Mario, has been on a couple of times. Way back when, in the beginning, when we first started doing this, to be
What?
Oh, good old Anthony Chu.
Yeah.
He's been on the show a few times as well. And
He has.
And in fact, me and him did the Yin and the Yang podcast for a while.
That's right. And in fact, he's going to be on the show again.
Are you kidding me?
Right about now.
No, I can't even.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Anthony, former host of the Yin and the Yang podcast, and I just wanted to say that I heard my good friend Larry is going to be leaving the Retro Gamers podcast. At first, when I heard this, I was like, no way, I can't believe it, because for 8 years, Larry, you've given us so much knowledge, and your love and your passion for retro gaming. And I'm sure the fans of the show, Anthony, myself, I mean, we're going to miss you, man. And I know that whatever you're going to do in the future is going to be absolutely amazing. I want to also say thank you so much for bringing me on so many different times as a guest host, talking about different various games that we remember back in the day. I mean, you made us laugh, you made us cry, you made us shocked. You are my brother. I love you, but I do want to leave you with one last thing, Larry. Whether you know it or not, Virtual Boy still sucks.
I don't think he was there that day when I brought it over. I don't think he
No,
ever
he wasn't.
tried it.
No, he wasn't.
there.
But it doesn't matter. What matters is he's right.
So there was the first time Anthony was on. Anthony Chu was on. We were recording down. Actually, the three of us were there, and we were recording from the basement. And I remember because this was the first time that like almost like a meta version. So back in the beginning, I would edit the audio when it was audio only. This is what it was. And Anthony, I think you've mentioned it on the podcast. Doing this episode, I know is driving you batty. And moving forward, it's going to drive you because you hate listening and seeing yourself back.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Where I am an egomaniac. And I love hearing myself. I haven't been crazy about seeing myself, but hearing myself, I can do all the time. So I would actually I used to listen to the episodes back then. We were still double digits at this point, back over and over again to the point where I'd fall asleep actually listening to the podcast.
Oh my.
And I remember
see that I can understand because your voice does have that kind of effect on people.
My voice and personality have driven many of people away. But there was an episode where he showed up late. So what happened was when we were recording, he rang my doorbell. So, all right, I let him in and everything. I was falling asleep one time listening to the podcast. It was like 2:00 in the morning. All of a sudden here, ding dong, I hit the ceiling because I didn't know what was going on.
It was the episode.
Freaked me out. Holy
That's
cow.
Awesome. Yeah, I do remember that, and that's hysterical. But with Anthony being late. But yeah, I didn't start listening to our show with any type of regularity until somewhere around episode like 350. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. I go because it's just one of those things. Look, some people have no issue watching and listening to themselves back. I'm one of the people that do. So it's always hard for me. It's always hard for me when I have to, like, all these years I've been editing the video portion of the show. Like it's a chore for me to do it because I'm just not comfortable watching and listening to myself. But as time went on, I got used to it. And now I'm actually at the point, it took 350 episodes. So it's like, but now I can at least listen to myself and even watch myself and not feel this like giant sense of dread.
Fair.
So,
good. Well, I'm glad you got over that.
Yeah. So it only took it only took 8 years.
The two guests that we've had interviews that we did 2 specific interviews.
We did
of people. The first was Dr. Anthony Bean.
Dr. Anthony Bean, video game, psychologist and video game enthusiast, and he's written quite a few.
Yeah, since then, yeah. I think he did a Final Fantasy book.
He's done a Final Fantasy book. He's done a few other books, but we had him on when he did his very first book, which was The Psychology of the Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
Which was absolutely fascinating.
Very fun episode. Very fun book. Really put into perspective why I hate Majora's Mask. Because it is the 7 stages of grieving or something like that.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it basically signified like the 5 stages of grief.
Oh, 5 stages. I'm thinking the 7 stages of hell.
Yeah, you're thinking
That's Breath of the Wild.
Don't switch between the games now. Which, by the way, you found Dante's Inferno through this podcast thanks to our game of the week.
A lot of games I found through the podcast, a lot of which you've recommended. So goes to show who has the better idea of what a good game is.
I know how to recommend the winners.
I'm even going to get into movies, but
let's not get into movies.
So we had, recently our good friend, and I can say friend now, Stan Puzdriak, who did Memory Card, the Alan Wake shorts. These 2 shorts, which you can find on YouTube. Please go check them out. And I've been in touch with Stan, and I hope he listens to this because I feel bad. It's been a few weeks since it's happened. Nothing bad. Actually, it's all good.
Yeah.
But I feel bad that I wanted to give a shout out to him. I never had a chance to, but he recently became a citizen here in the United States.
Oh yeah,
So, yep, got a citizenship. So,
congrats, Stan. That's amazing.
yes, amazing stuff. So, welcome aboard.
Absolutely.
Welcome aboard. But
But we've had two great
Yeah.
interviews we've had on the show. Honestly, like it's one of the things that I really wish over the 400 episodes we did more of, Larry, because
I know, I get it.
and the only reason why I say that is because you're so good at doing them. You really are. You have a very innate ability to just talk to anybody about anything. And you're a natural when it comes to just, again, like you said, like rolling off the cuff is key when you're doing interviews. So it's definitely a strong suit of yours, and I wish you would have done more of them over the time. But half the time you were basically interviewing me. So
trying to pull stuff out of you. What do you think about this game? What do you think about that game?
it's good.
I appreciate those kind words. Let's let's go behind the scenes one more time. If you know us personally and you know our personalities, the fact that we even got through 400, not friendship wise, I'm not talking about that one, but being able to work with each other on a podcast, the way Anthony likes to work versus the way I like to work, shocked we even got past episode 7.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I am a stickler for format. I like to keep everything organized, and I like to plan. Larry likes to sit down in front of the microphone and just go.
Just throw the book out the window. And let's see where we go with it.
Like you said, this episode is a perfect example of it, because I had a plan. I had everything laid out the way that I wanted it to, and Larry is just
destroyed it.
Yeah, Larry is just making things happen as we go. But you know what? It's all working out fine. So,
well, I think I'm hitting the spots pretty good. Oh, now what?
No. You're hitting the spot. No. You're hitting the spots absolutely fine. But what I was going to say is, as we keep talking about, guest hosts, because we've had a lot.
Episode.
Yeah, it's a 9-hour episode. We've had a lot of guest hosts over time. Mm-hmm. The first guest host that I remember having on the show that wasn't a friend of ours, like a friend from our social group. The very, very first one that I remember was Josh from Victims and Villains. Victims and Villains. Josh, such a great guy, who we're about to hear from right now.
What? I haven't heard from him in forever.
Hello, Larry. Josh from Victims and Villains, Abyss Gazing, Horrific Hope, That's High Praise, a Nicolas Cage podcast. But enough about me. This is just a video to congratulate you on your next chapter in life. It has been a true treat getting to know you and Anthony these last few years of doing Victims and Villains and Retro Gamers podcast. So I understand that you are currently leaving to pursue a wrestling podcast. I wish you nothing but the best of it. It was the first wrestling podcast you had was incredible, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to do in the future. Wish you the best of luck, and Anthony, keep the retro gamers alive.
Oh wow, I haven't sometimes things happen. People just, again, nothing bad, just communications. Because I haven't seen Josh in forever, so it's great to see Josh. He's looking good. Yeah. You always had great pod. He's getting more podcasts than I did at one point. Nicolas Cage podcast is phenomenal because Nicolas Cage is awesome. But yes. Victims and Villains, I think our first crossover with him was Power Rangers. I think
might have been
or Castlevania thing maybe. Yeah, definitely we did a Power Rangers one. I remember we did that.
We did a Power Rangers one. I don't know.
That made me go and watch that damn movie in the theater.
Oh, the newer one, right?
Yeah.
The newer movie. Yeah. Which the first 2/3 was great and the last third was awful. And you thought the reverse.
The absolute reverse. I'm like, they're not troubled teens.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care about character development. Bring on the Zords.
That's all I wanted. And I told you, and again, this is totally real. Yeah. My favorite part of the movie is when they started going into Go Power Rangers,
and that's when I was like, oh, they just ruined it.
The nostalgia wash that came over me. I'm sure Ant guy was like, I'm out.
Yep, and I'm sure. Well, you know what though? Just to tie it all together, I'm sure right now you're enjoying the new Power Rangers Rita's Rewind game on your Switch.
Oh yes, because I've been playing it because this is a week after we recorded last time. Absolutely. So I'm
Yes.
loving it. Yes, we haven't done this before. So
No, absolutely not. So, what's your favorite part of the game?
um everything. I got to admit, there's really
Excellent.
nothing about it that is bad.
Excellent.
It's got classic characters. I've beaten the game already, so I unlocked Tommy Oliver. So I got the Green
Yep.
Ranger. I'm all set and good to go.
Which good. I'm very happy to hear that. I think that's great news.
Um,
Um,
but I
but
will,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
I was
No,
gonna
no,
say,
go.
but I do like how Josh dropping the bomb, which is good because I want to mention that now before
Yes.
people start tuning out before the end of the episode.
Too late.
Yeah. So Josh mentions, and I've told other people and everything, kind of, but I haven't said it here. My new endeavor, because I when I told Anthony about this, I'm like, look, as much as I love gaming, I do. I love games. My passion is professional wrestling. So starting in January, and actually Josh even said it's coming back, which is true. Josh did all the promos that really I don't even need to mention anything anymore.
No,
Except
no, you don't.
I think the only thing he didn't do was drop the name of it.
Exactly.
So starting in January, I am bringing back my wrestling podcast, Talking More Wrestling,
Mhm.
MOHR, Talking More Wrestling. And I kind of mentioned it when we first mentioned that I was leaving. I really did go back and forth on this for a while, for weeks, months. I gotta be honest with you, and I just because I wanted to do both, but I knew I couldn't. I'd be a disservice to both podcasts
Mhm.
that I wouldn't be able to focus totally on both. So so starting in January, which is really epic timing, WWE's moving to Netflix. The business hasn't been hotter than it's been in a long, long time.
Mhm.
On all aspects, maybe except AEW, but I'll get into that on my show. And hopefully for those of you out there who are wrestling fans, you'll come join me over, and it's going to be wherever you listen to podcasts. It might be audio only. That's the only last part of the bit I'm trying to figure out. But wherever you listen to podcasts, Talking More Wrestling. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping the kayfabe alive for the new stuff, but I'll deep dive and, go behind the scenes as much as I know with the old stuff. My biggest thing I want to do with this podcast is no spoilers. This is not a wrestling podcast that I hate spoilers. There will be no spoilers on mine. And second, I want it to be about the love of wrestling. There is a lot of podcasts out there who all they do is complain about it. Oh, why are they pushing this person? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing this? Who cares? Why do you love watching it? That's why do I love watching it? And there's still bits and pieces that even to this day I watch and I get emotional about it. So that's what it's looking forward to. I'm gonna have some friends on. We're gonna be talking about some stuff. I'll probably be doing some live watch alongs if I can figure out how to do that again. I did it during the
Yep.
pandemic. But Talking More Wrestling, wherever you listen to podcasts, check it out.
Yeah.
And that's really I mean, we're not wrapping this up right now. I don't think so. I don't know
No.
what time it is.
No,
But
we're not done. No, we're not done yet.
but that's where I'm going, and it's going to be fun. And hopefully, even though I know there's some NDAs out there which might be voided at this point, but hopefully I can have Anthony on one day to maybe talk about some stuff. I think it's no secret that where you've worked in the past. So
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say if you ever get the itch to interview somebody who may or may not have worked at one of said companies, feel free to reach out. I would love to be the first interview.
because all those NDAs I think went out the window. So
Oh, they are gone. They are gone. But no, in all seriousness, obviously the door, if the door is open, I would be more than happy to join you on your podcast.
Yeah.
And because I do not, full disclosure, obviously, I do not follow wrestling anymore. I don't,
Yeah.
but I keep an eye on it from January to April because the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania section is the one that I still pay attention to. So if you do a Royal Rumble episode without me, I will be very upset.
No, I'm gonna
There's no Rumble without me.
No,
That's
I
the
know.
only one I
but
got left.
So I'll drop it here. I'm gonna do a live watch along for the Royal Rumble because I'm doing a Royal Rumble
Nice.
viewing party.
Viewing party.
Which you know
Yeah.
about, Ant. I've told you about it. So hopefully, look, I don't expect you
Yeah.
to make the trip down here, but if you can, it'd be amazing if you did.
If it's a Saturday now.
It's, they've moved to Saturdays now, which is amazing. And sometimes they're at 6:00 because the UFC fights at 10. So I love going to
That's
bed.
even better.
Oh
So,
my God, I am all in on that.
So
I wasn't ignoring Anthony. I was trying to find.
What are you looking for?
I was
Are we
trying
looking
to
for
find. No, I still have the water bottle, and I still have the pencils from Titan Tower.
the ones that I gave you?
The ones that you gave me, the ones that were used by the man himself, who probably I should throw away by this point. But you know what? I still
Yeah,
keep
because
them
Lord
for
knows what he
nostalgia.
touched before he touched that.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That might be. I can't. I don't know. I know I have it, but apparently that's
Oh
not
my
here.
gosh.
But
Yeah,
nevertheless.
Larry and I, for as many video game memories as we have just as many wrestling memories
Oh, we
over the
do,
course of
absolutely.
over the course of our lives. But I have to say, just to segue it back to gaming a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
I mean, wrestling video games have just been such a huge part of our gaming experiences, both separately and together.
Let's face
And
facts. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. And I was just gonna say, it's just like the evolution of wrestling games. Like we've gotten to see them all the way back in the beginning. And when I say back in the beginning, I'm talking like going back to my Commodore 64 to Micro League Wrestling, like going from there all the way to current WWE 2K24 and everything in between. The ones we found online, like
Yes.
Rampage Wrestling, TNM,
Yeah.
which we did a showcase of for Game of the Week once,
Yeah.
which was awesome. Those wrestling game experiences with us, obviously WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, and the WCW games on N64, unparalleled.
Forget about it. Untouchable.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the games I'll always go back to and play.
It was a wrestling video game that got us to talk. That's how we met. Well, we met on the yearbook committee, but we started talking about.
And
WWE.
Speaking of,
I can't. Half those people are dead. Who else do you have?
Here's Mr. D'Amico. No.
There's a name out of the past. Oh, I hope he's not dead.
I still hate that man.
Oh, come on now. Anyway, I'm gonna steal a line from Anthony. Moving right along.
Well, yeah.
No, but I was gonna say WWE Raw on the Super Nintendo. That's
Raw on the
one
Super Nintendo
that got us to talk. That's how we met.
Yep.
A couple days later, I went to your house. We played games. Then I was walking home to my house. I got mugged. On the way home, first time I met you. I should have put two and two together.
Yep, you should have stopped. Look at this. Look at us now, 30 years later. Not only that, 30 years later, when around the time Raw came out, because Raw came out around this time, because I remember I asked for it for Christmas, and I forced my mom to give it to me early. I remember it was like December 4th or something like that, and I told her, I said, I know it's in your closet. I've already seen it because my mom didn't wrap it. And I said, look, let me have it now. I will play it nonstop. And then I remember the argument she said. She's like, oh, but then you're going to be mad on Christmas morning when you have like one less gift. I said, no, because at this point, I was like, what, 16 at this point? I go, I was already way more mature than I should have been. I'm like, I go, no, I would never do that. I go, I don't care. I go, I just want to play the game. And so she gave it to me because the game came out originally in November
of 94.
Came out in November of 94. So it wasn't too long after when obviously because Christmas was the next month. So then I remember getting it like in early December as an early Christmas gift.
I feel like it had to have been early 95, maybe. I mean, it might have been 94 when we met.
Yeah. Well, if you were walking also, I would have thought maybe it was a little bit later when it was warmer out, but I
remember having like a jacket.
But we were on the same, we were going to the same school at the time.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we were. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I walked into the yearbook committee like, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Larry. My name's Anthony. Oh, you like wrestling? So do I. Let's hang out." I'm sure there was a couple of weeks or
there was something.
But
yes.
Ultimately, that's what it was, and those idiots only took money out of my pocket. Meanwhile, I had a backpack full of Super Nintendo games that they didn't even bother with. So, who's the fool on that one?
Well, you know what? Actually, in that one, they were the fools. They did not take your backpack. They just went for the money.
One was probably my boss at work.
Yeah, but also at the time, the concept of trading games in wasn't even a thing. So,
far from it. No, yeah,
we weren't.
Well,
there
I mean, there was that Funko Land that was around the corner from high school.
There
was eventually a Funko Land around.
No, eventually. But what I'm saying is, at that time, like 94-ish or whatever, Like I don't. Yeah, there
You
were
might have
no.
been. You might have already graduated then, because you're 2 years. You were 2 years ahead of me.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, you
I
were.
was still. No, no. I was 2 years ahead of you, but I was still there. Oh, you mean when Funkoland showed up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
When Funkoland opened.
probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like around the time we met, there was no such thing as a store to trade.
No,
games
exactly.
into.
No,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And
That came a little bit later when Funkoland used to rob us of our games. Here are 10 games we're trading in. Here's $3.
I don't think I've ever traded in anything to Funkoland. I've traded things like Electronics Boutique and GameStop, but never. Actually, I don't think I might have stepped into Funkoland once.
I remember trading Funkoland because the Funkoland that existed that I remember was in Canarsie. You had to go to was it Ralph Avenue? I think you had to go to Ralph. I think you had to go to Ralph Avenue.
I remember that.
We're getting really
now.
local. We're going.
Yeah.
The one on Ralph Avenue. It was across the street from the IHOP that got closed down for violating health codes.
Yes. Welcome to Brooklyn, folks.
Welcome to Brooklyn. But that was the one I used to go to, and I remember in the beginning I was super excited with the concept of, oh, I can trade all this stuff in that I don't play anymore, and then I realized like I was getting fleeced.
Supply and demand, my friend.
No, I understand that, but that's when I turned around and said, "Oh, okay, I'm going to stop." And I think maybe my stopping point was when I got the 32X. So I was like, "Okay," we need to stop now. This is getting out of hand.
All the things to hold on to. Okay,
I know. So, but oh man, Funkoland, how you ruined me. Oh my gosh.
Oh well.
But yes, onward with the show. I know we've been going a little bit long, but there's still a few more goodbyes to get to.
What?
So yeah, no, we're not done. Well, you know what? We still got a few left. So I'm gonna throw one on. I know you were talking about guest hosts on the show. I know you were talking about crossovers, and I'm gonna throw a couple up here of some other guests that we've had on the show. Okay. Some maybe a little bit more recent.
Hi, folks. This is Chris and Dave here from Two Middle-Aged Guys Trying to Work It All Out, and I'd like to offer my deepest condolences to the Mormon family. It's a terrible tragedy what's happened, and in these times that words just don't do enough. But I'd just like to say, I believe that Larry is in a better place, and I hope you all are able to hold on to some hope as well.
Dave, he's not dead.
He's not.
No.
Ooh.
He's just leaving the podcast.
Okay. Once you say your thing, come back to me.
Okay.
I'll reset, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Larry, Chris, obviously, one half of Two Middle-Aged Guys Trying to Work It All Out. We are going to miss you. I don't even know how to put it into words, but you have been a friend to our podcast. You've been an inspiration for our podcast. We've enjoyed having you on our show. We've enjoyed being on your show, and it's not going to be the same without you. That is for dang sure.
Yeah. And also, let me just say, congratulations on being alive. I really thought you were dead. And, I'm not sure I would have just recorded a video for you leaving the podcast. But no, I'm happy that you're alive, and I'm happy that you're going on to do something new. And you will be missed. You have been a wonderful friend to Chris and I, to me personally, as we started this journey. And when you do die, hey, listen, I've already got my speech halfway written. So this is, I feel like we're kind of getting ahead here. So,
when you need a eulogy,
it's a happy accident.
Yeah.
Before we go, though, I would like to talk a little bit about Manscaped, if we could, now that we've got that big promotional deal with them.
Oh, yeah, yes. The Manscaped money. Yeah.
Yep, the Manscaped money. And I know, Larry, that you did quite well with your Manscaped agreement, your deal, your contract with them. But it now belongs to us. So don't try to get in on that.
No, and actually part of it belonging to us means you're still going to get the residual checks. If you could sign those over and mail them to us, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I'll send you a free razor or not. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I'll bother with that. But folks, Manscaped.
Oh, wow. Oh, Chris and Dave, first of all, that was amazing. That was hysterical. Wow.
Great guys. Absolutely.
Great guys. I still, I remember when Dave messaged me and he's like, yeah, I'm thinking of doing a podcast, or we're thinking of doing, I don't remember if it was him who originated or him and Chris started talking about it. I forgot how that went, but he was like, I've listened to you guys do it. And to me, still to be like this inspired someone to do a podcast. It's still, I mean, humbled. Don't get me, absolutely, we are humbled,
We
but
are.
it's wild to say that. And if I ever do something stupid down the road, or if I do die, you can always say that Kevin Smith inspired you, because that's where
Yes.
I got it from. So, kind of the 6 degrees of separation.
When you said we are humbled, I always think of Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners, and I go back to that episode when he was preparing to give a speech. Do you remember
Oh,
the episode?
yes,
And he'd be
yes.
like, "I am humble."
Yeah. Yes. I think it was one of his Raccoon Lodge speeches or
Yes.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was like he thought he was going to be Raccoon of the Year.
Yes. Yes. I think Ed got it. I think Norton got it.
Yeah, and Norton got it.
Oh my
But
gosh.
he came up with that whole speech and he kept repeating that. I am humble.
Do. Remember when
Oh
Norton
my
would play that on the
gosh.
keyboard?
Yes.
Very, very touching. I mean, they've all
Yes.
have, but wow, I totally forgot about those 4 weeks that we were there shilling out Manscaped.
Yep, we did. Yep, that it was our one ad that we had. Well, it was our first. Let's say
It was our first, yes.
Yeah, because old school gamer now that we've kind of hooked up with, and one of us has hooked up with them a little bit more. If you happen
No,
to
you have.
read the actual articles in there, you might see my name
Folks,
in there now.
Folks, no time is better than now to subscribe to Old School Gamer magazine at oldschoolgamer.com, because yours truly, I don't know which side I'm on, Anthony has articles now. He's writing, or at least submitting freelance maybe, to the magazine. And I mean, I'll give you your praises a little later, but you're right. Whenever we've done things for the podcast that involve text, I always I'm not even going to bother with this. Give me a title, give me a description. You can tell what descriptions were his versus what descriptions were mine. What you do with writing is absolutely short of phenomenal. I mean, maybe even beyond that. It's I still actually, again, I'll embarrass you just a little bit. I still have, on purpose, you had to do a demo script for WWE when you went to work there.
Right.
And you worked out, to me, on paper, one of the best matches that's never happened. Was a 6-man tag inside Elimination Chamber. The Wyatts versus the Shield. I still have that. And that's how good you were, that I wish they made that match happen. So
they did eventually do the Wyatts in the Shield,
but not in Elimination Chamber.
They never let it that way. Yes.
The way you work that structure into a different type of match. So yeah, no, your writing's good, and the article that you've already had published, amazing, on manuals, which is very fun to read. I can't wait to read your next one about handhelds, because you don't know what the hell you're probably talking about.
That is not true. I know what I'm talking about. I swear, I am humble.
That's my denaturizer. But no, Manscaped, yeah. So we get this email, like, okay,
randomly
Manscaped,
out of nowhere, yeah,
totally random, and it's legit. It's from Manscaped, which is a grooming company, and it's for your private areas of grooming, and there's nothing goofy about it. Look, that's life, and it's something health related.
Men's grooming is an important thing.
Absolutely. And I remember I got the email. I think I saw it first, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to fit what we're trying to do, but and we talked it over. We're like, let's give it a shot. I remember they sent us a script, to read during the promos. We'd gotten a promo codes, which I know a few people used. Our promo code, which I don't think still works. It was, I think, save 20% if you use the code Retro Gamers. Yes. And I still use their products more. I got like buzzers and razors for the face. But it was very interesting to navigate. And like I said, though, there wasn't anything adult about it. It's a grooming system, but to try and work it into what we did was hysterical.
Oh no, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But since you did bring up how we had like a discount code, for anybody out there who wants to sign up with Old School Gamer Magazine, if you want a subscription to Old School Gamer Magazine, you can access a subscription by using oldschoolgamer.com/ Retro Gamers Podcast. And I
When
don't.
did this happen?
Well, as you were talking about the Manscaped thing, you reminded me I got an email that it just went live. So, so I'm bringing it up now.
Anthony's already wheeling and dealing more stuff that I didn't know about.
Yeah, so
awesome.
hit up oldschoolgamer.com/retrogamerspodcast if you are interested in signing up with Old School Gamer magazine. And like I said, they have a lot of wonderful articles.
Amazing.
I am very grateful that that they are accepting articles from me now, and you can read my articles in the magazine. And Larry, I do appreciate, I really do appreciate, the compliment about my writing, because one of the hardest things to ever do, at least in my personal opinion, is when you are creating something and putting it out there in the world, because you never know how people are going to react to it.
So trust me, I know about that.
Yeah, I know you do.
But
yeah, I was just gonna say we've been doing this for 400 episodes, so it's a similar thing. This and what?
And when the internet absolutely destroyed me because I put up an unboxing video that I got a care package from the New England Patriots, and daddy, the internet can be a cruel, cruel mistress with things I can't even repeat, but I found hysterical. Actually, I can't repeat this one that someone told me. His head is so fat, his hat's on the last button of a snapback. And I still to this day chuckle when I hear about that, when I read that. Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Yes, the internet can be a cruel, cruel place. But I really appreciate the compliments. And again, it's a very hard thing to put yourself out there like that in whatever creative medium you choose, whether it's podcasting, writing, acting, singing, all of those things. So I'm always thankful to people who do watch us, who do listen, who now will read things. So
I gotta learn how to read now.
I was just gonna say, you're gonna need to learn how to read for sure. But enough of that tangent. We are still dealing with some other goodbyes that we haven't gotten to yet.
All right.
I'm gonna throw another one back up there, and this will segue us into, I want to say, one of the things we haven't talked about yet. And I know we're going long. What else is new?
Split it into 2 weeks. Get me one more week out of this.
No, I think we're good. But we're gonna. Nope, this is it. You got one more week.
Anthony wants me out.
That's where we agree. I do not want 400.5. So.
Oh no! Remember we had one episode. It was like 97.36/2 or something like that.
I think that's when we were making fun. I think that's when we were making fun of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
But be that as it may, one of the things we haven't talked about yet is the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
And taking part in that has been such a wonderful experience. But before we get to that, I want to throw up another farewell video from a couple of guys that you didn't meet beforehand, but did show up in person at the expo we chatted with as well.
Hey, we're from the Circling the Drain podcast, and we're here because I heard a strange rumor that Larry from the Retro Gamers podcast is leaving.
Actually, that's not a rumor. Anthony just asked him to leave straight up.
Oh, come on. I was a guest on the show before, and it was so informative, and he really knows what he's doing as a podcaster.
Yeah, Larry, we're going to miss you on the podcast, and we're going to miss seeing you at the gaming expos.
Oh, and by the way, we want to wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Oh, Sean with the button. I like it. Oh my gosh. Great guys. Circle and Drain podcast. If you haven't checked them out, great podcast. Been on there.
They are a blast. They are a blast to listen to.
So much fun.
And between them and I don't know if we didn't plug them before, but Chris and Dave, two middle-aged guys trying to work it all out. Great podcast as well.
Absolutely.
But Circle and the Drain. I remember I met them for the first time in person at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. But you had talked to them before that.
I met Ira. Actually, funny enough, we were in a like a podcast group or something on Facebook, and so I don't know how we hooked up, but just something to do with I guess just he saw my podcast, I saw his or theirs, and he saw ours, and then we just started talking. And then actually, I don't remember which one exactly, but this was while you were in LA, And I never expected you, nor that you did, that you should have. Well, you might have once, for you to fly in just for this. It's like, stay home. That's me being me. That's how I am. I'm like, no need to. That's too far away. But Ira did show up to help me one day, co-run the table. So that's where me and him, kind of really locked in as far as podcasting and everything like that. And then Sean, Steven, Pickles, we just all became such good friends, over the podcast. We actually, speaking of, even though I have my wrestling podcast, we did a wrestling podcast for a little while called The Ring Crew, which you probably still find online. And I'll have them on mine down the road. But no, they were great people. And the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo has been so good to us.
Yes.
I remember the first year I went, I remember, and actually it came up like in a like a history or something on my phone, because the iPhone will sometimes pull up like photos or whatever. When I went, I don't think I went the first year they had it. I probably went the second year they had it. And it was just in a hotel, like in a hotel lobby almost. Very small compared to what it is now. And that's where I saw, which to this day I absolutely regret not buying, but there was no way I could have gotten it home, was a cocktail table Ms. Pac-Man machine.
Oh, yeah.
That was like $1,000, but it was in pristine condition, and it probably still had the quarters still in it. So,
so you would have gotten some money back if you bought.
I would have gotten some. And but it's just no way I could have gotten in my car, let alone try and jam it into my house. But and then that exploded into what it is now at the Cradle of Aviation in Uniondale, Long Island, New York. And then we went the first time me and you went, we went as just paid visitors. Like we paid to get in, meaning not having a table. And we just
I believe that
around.
was 2019 or 2022?
No. It was definitely before the pandemic.
It was 2019. Yeah, that was 2019.
So, and we walked around, and then I remember we wanted to record something, but we couldn't find a spot to record in. And I don't know if it was Joel. Joel runs the place, and he does an amazing job with it. I don't know if it was him, but we asked someone, like, look, there's an empty table over here. Can we just set up for like a half hour? And he was kind enough to let us just it was like a table in the corner. That's when Charles came in and broke my Virtual Boy.
That's right.
And then after that, we started getting tables from it. And we've been having such a blast running the tables at the Long Island Retro Expo. Turned out, actually, one of the guys who works with Joel he's actually leaving the company, but worked with me at my regular 9 to 5. Leroy, shout out to you. Best of luck in your future endeavors. We just had such a good time doing that show, where we met a lot of fans from the show, which still drives me nuts.
I know. I'm always floored that when people come up and say, "Oh yeah, hey, I love listening to your show. I love watching your show." Because again, it's just one of those things that nothing I ever prepared for. And I told the story on this show once before, where I was going to work in Los Angeles, my job in Los Angeles. One morning I was going to work, and I was talking to somebody, one of my coworkers, and he was fairly new. And we were both walking to the building, and he's like, "You sound so familiar to me. Where do I know?" I'm like, "I don't know where, but you sound really, really familiar." And then while we were talking, I brought up that I had a podcast. He's like, "Is it the Retro Gamers podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I listened to your show." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Yeah, it's so random and strange when things like that happen." But it also is like, again, it's very humbling. It's always a great thing. It's always a great thing. And like you always say, we're always really grateful for it. I'm gonna jump over to a clip of our first shot, our first visit to the Retro Gaming Expo. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Retro Expo, always a fun time, and we did some
Yeah.
fun edits with those, mixing those together. Um, and just the layouts and everything like that. I remember the one time that's where I bought the Virtual Boy, and you were with me.
Yes.
And yeah, you were like, "Why are you buying this?" And I should have known then there was something wrong with that Virtual Boy because the guy was selling for $400. And I'm
Mhm.
like, is there anything we can do about it? He's like, throw me a number. And I purposely, for the sake of going back and forth, I purposely lowballed him at 200, half the
Mhm.
price. And he's like, sold. At that point, I should have been like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
He did tell me that one of the legs was broken, which is fine. I could have had that fixed.
Right. But he did
That's
tell you
when
one of the
the
lenses didn't
lens,
work.
yeah, one of the lenses didn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh. To be fair, that guy, I did go to the store out in Stony Brook, which is a
Mhm.
hike, but he did give me a refund on it. And then later on, when the store was bought out by Game On.
Yes. Nice.
Wow.
Well, there you go. But yeah, no, the expo was always great. And and to your point, we made a lot of friends there. We met some old friends. We met some new friends, including the next person that I'm gonna share with you.
Larry, can't believe you're leaving the podcast. I warned Anthony not to keep digging at you with his Virtual Boy thing. I think the Virtual Boy is great. I know that's why you're leaving. I feel terrible. Seriously, though, it's been great listening to you guys banter back and forth, and I know that whatever it is you got planned next is going to be just as exciting, and I just thank you for all the good memories. I've only been listening to podcasts for a little less than like 6 months, but I have poured through so many of these things, and it's been a lot of fun. So, thanks for everything, man. Good luck.
He lives above a homemade video game museum, and it is
Yes.
wild when we were there.
Oh, that was such a great moment when we actually got to see that because
Yep.
we were just like kids in a candy store.
We walked down into that basement and like just everything you saw, all these, and it was mostly computers, really not as much.
Yeah,
consoles.
he's big into PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Actually, and that's another, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to use the word regret, but I always wanted John and Jack to do a complete episode, just the two of them. In fact, remember they were talking back and forth to each other in code. It sounded like, and I was literally gonna like try and like slide because I had those microphones with me. I was gonna try and slide the microphones just under him and just let him go. Just let him go.
You know what it is? It's like when they had the two AIs talking to each other and they had to shut them down because nobody knew what they were saying. Like that to me would be Jack and John, which is absolutely amazing. And the reason why we met is because it was the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo because I went up to their table where they were selling computers.
Yep.
And I bought a Windows 98 PC from them, and they had told me, we were talking a lot about stuff, and he had mentioned, and Jack bought an Atari from them. I think it was the Atari ST.
Yes, yes.
I picked it up from him that day. But when I was talking with John and Jonathan, they told me, they were like, "Oh yeah, we live up in the Albany area." And I said, "I'm planning to move there sometime soon." And they, and John being John was like, well, he's like, when you move there, it's like, reach out. We'll get together and hang out. And since then we've become pretty good friends.
Yeah, you have.
And we have, and they're great. Both of them are fantastic. Yeah, really, really good people.
Yeah. No, that Long Island Retro Expo has definitely opened us to a lot of things. I was actually interviewed at the Long Island Retro Expo.
That's right. I remember.
Yes, which unfortunately I have trouble finding. It's on Amazon somewhere actually, but it was this ESR 24/7 gaming channel or something like that. And I remember you weren't there. It was the weekend that I had to run the table by myself, unfortunately. And I remember a woman came up like, "Would you like to be interviewed?" I'm like, "Okay, no problem." And they interviewed everyone there. Don't get me wrong, but oh my God, I had so much fun doing that interview. Actually, I saw her again. She was there with, I guess, another crew. That this year's the one that just passed. She came up to me and she remembered me. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" But that was fun. So I've gotten interviewed because of this thing. Again, the amount of friends that we've met, the amount of fans that we've met. He's going to kill me if I end up going to next year's expo. He's going to kill me when he sees me. Who's
Phil?
Yes.
Anthony's friend. Anthony's friend Phil. Yeah.
Anthony Chu's friend Phil. He was the one who, when I was setting up for, again, I think it was the year you weren't there. I had to run solo. When I went to sign in for everything, I guess he was doing something else because he was online with me, and he kind of patted me on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh, what are you here for?" I'm like, "Oh, I do the Retro Gamers." He's like, "Oh, I listen to that," and he was the first one to say that I don't know who this guy. He was a stranger to me at this point. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "You guys do amazing. Love listening to your show." So he's the first one to really, for me, to be like, "I listen to your show. You guys are awesome." And by the way, I've worked with a friend of yours, and I'm like, "Really? This guy knows
And who is it?
everyone is ever
Yeah.
Anthony Chu knows everyone
Chu.
everywhere." But and Phil has become a good friend. He sees us every year moving on. It's always fun to see Phil. He actually bought my Maximum Carnage on Genesis. Was the last sale I made at the expo this year.
You need to, and you need to, even though you're leaving the show, you got to come back to the expo every year.
I plan on going, even if I'm going to be just a guy walking.
No. I'm just going to drag you behind the table with me for the show. That's all.
Listen, all that walking, no problem.
Yep. All right, we're whittling down our farewells, but I'm still not done yet.
Wow, there's more. How many more friends do we have?
Well, you know what? There are lots. You know what? When I put it out in the ether that you were leaving, apparently a lot of people were very excited to say goodbye to you. So let's get to the next one.
So you got some ex-girlfriends of mine. Okay. This should be interesting.
Well, now that you mention it.
Woo! Lunchbox, a.k.a. the Disgruntled Gamer here. And I've known Larry for a few years now. I think I messaged him whenever I heard his opinion on Zelda Breath of the Wild. And, yep, I'm in Larry's camp, and I totally agree with everything he says. But we're not here to talk about that right now. Larry, my good friend, I wish you the best of luck on all your future endeavors. You're going to be sorely missed, my friend. So, good luck to you, and game on.
Thunderdome Gaming Society. Check him out on all social media. He's starting to pick up steam.
Yeah, he definitely is.
I'm very happy.
And he is the only other person in the world who does not like Breath of the Wild.
I've got some people. Here are my videos. Here is everyone now. I'm going to show who hates Breath of the Wild.
Well, you know what?
Starting with Mr. Miyamoto.
Yeah, you know what? I had a feeling you may bring up something like that. So I thought because Justin brought up Breath of the Wild and how much you hate Breath of the Wild, I think it's incredibly important to remind everybody of this specific moment from our show.
All right. So, Mario, what's your favorite game of all time?
Breath of the Wild.
Get out. All right. So, what's your favorite game?
Used to be Zelda 2 until Breath of the Wild came out.
No. Just no. No.
Hey, welcome to the better half.
No. We're not doing that anymore.
Wait.
No, I'm sorry. No, we're just going to talk about just your favorite game. So,
okay.
Yeah, all right. So, all right, here we go.
Okay.
So, Frank, what's your favorite game?
Oh, that's easy. Breath of the Wild.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a favorite game, and I know it's Super Metroid, so I'm just going to go through the motions here. All right, so Rich, what's your favorite game of all time?
Actually, I just recently played Breath of the Wild, and I beat it, and it's... You okay?
Sixth person. All right, look, what we're going to do...
Hey! Aren't you going to ask me my favorite game?
And the Oscar goes to no one in that video. No, that was 300. Holy cow, that was 100.
That was 100 episodes ago. We celebrated the wonder that is Breath of the Wild,
and that is why we don't do skits here, folks. And also side note, thank you, Manjaro. But the Breath of the Wild. Look, you had your Virtual Boy. I got my Breath of the Wild. But that was fun. Actually, filming that was very fun.
It really was. I do agree with you that skits are definitely not our thing, but it's still fun to do that.
No, it was so much fun to do, and that was like the biggest panel, quote unquote, we had. That was a lot of people there that day.
Yeah, we had a lot of people there that day. It was 300 was a lot of fun. That was a very fun episode. Yeah, you know what? I think this episode will go down in history as having the most people on it at the same time with all of the goodbye videos.
I think so. Probably.
Absolutely. So, I'm about to wind it down.
Okay.
We only have one goodbye video left, Larry.
Oh, wow. Who could you have possibly saved for last?
Who could I have saved for last? Well, it wasn't the original person I had saved for last, but it worked out that this person is last.
They said no.
Yes. The original person I saved for last was like, nope, I'm not doing it. No. This one's a good one to save for last. So let's see it.
Hey Larry, what's up? Anthony wanted me to make this video. Well, he asked me to make this video for you on your exiting of the retro gamers, which, not for nothing. Anthony should know that I'm horrible with technology, and I couldn't just send him a video and, just send it to him. But no, I had to download Dropbox, which I had already downloaded, but I didn't know my password, so, I had to reset my password, but my password was too close to my old password, and I had to have a special signal, a special symbol, and, one capital letter, and, 8 lowercase letters. It's like, this is me we're talking about here, the caveman, okay? You're lucky you're getting this. Anyway, I got about 45 seconds in. I think it was supposed to be 30. I don't know. He's probably going to cut this. But anyway, so this is what I'm doing for you. Hey, Larry. Harry Carey here. I just want to say, good job on the Retro Gamers. And it's going to be so much better with you. I mean, it's going to be great. You're going to have to spend more time with other podcasts. Cubs win. Cubs win.
I wish I knew he was filming that, because yes, I'm shocked he didn't call me going, F this. Anthony asked me to write a video and I can't get this video to him. Can you deliver it to him, please?
Well, yeah. And, I didn't have the heart to tell him or the other people, by the way, who did a vertical version that I asked them to do the horizontal version.
I think 2 middle-aged guys, him and them and Josh, are the only 2 that nailed it, I think.
Yeah, but it didn't matter.
That's okay.
No. But obviously Frank, who's been on this show several times.
Yes.
He was one of the earliest guests we had when we switched over to video. Actually.
He was. He was our Commodore 64 guy for a little while, whether you liked it or not. And cheap plug on that one as well. Me and him do a much simpler podcast that is not at all as demanding as this one. Frank and Larry's Stupid Podcast. Check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. And that Harry Carey impression works way better audio than it does video.
Yes. Yes. But and I will say that your new podcast with him, I used to, I obviously enjoyed the better half, but your new podcast with him is as it is entitled in the title, it is stupid but a lot of fun.
Yes, no, thank you very much. No, that one's fun. Yeah, that one's just no nonsense. Just you don't have to think about anything. But that was wow, so many. That was a lot that I wasn't expecting, to be honest. A lot of kind words. You know me, and the world now the world knows. I do not handle praise well at all.
No, you don't.
I get uncomfortable hearing things that I do good. So that was all very, very hit home, which I appreciate everyone doing those kind words for me and for Anthony too.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was. I'm getting speechless after 400 episodes. Okay. Now I'm starting to forget what to say.
Before you get speechless, because I know we are sadly approaching the end here. Before we go, I do believe there is one other thing that we need to do, I think it involves a couple of. I received a box in the mail from you.
You did. Would you stop doing that? Stop showing my address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, since you're leaving.
Well, yeah. P.O. box.
Well, actually, your address isn't on here. The UPS store's address is.
Oh, good.
But my address is on here.
Show it all you want, then. All right.
Anyway, let's start that over.
Yeah. Just pick up from you going.
Yeah, I will. So we still have these here that arrived. I got this box from you, and I believe you got one. You got one from me.
I already opened.
So. Yeah, well, you already opened yours. So why don't we open? I'll open mine first. We'll save yours for last.
Before you open yours,
yes,
Josh, I love you, but you put the cart before the horse. What I bought,
Uh-oh.
what I purchased for Anthony is, first of all, I don't even know what he got me, but I can already tell it's going to be way better than what I got him. What I got
I
him
doubt that.
is like a going away present that was going to not hint, but touch on where I'm heading to.
Oh,
So with
okay.
that being said, and it's also
Oh, I'm
not
gonna.
wrapped. So
Okay.
I also
So let
bought this
me.
about 2 months ago when I bought your birthday gift. Because
Oh
I
wow. Okay.
debated this was originally going to be your birthday gift.
All right. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what it is. Oh, how did you know? Full disclosure. When you started talking to me about recollecting
Yeah.
the LJN figures, I started looking for them on Facebook Marketplace specifically because I wanted the Macho Man Randy Savage figure just to have in my house.
There you go. Now, full disclosure as well, the ones that I showed a couple weeks ago or last week were the
Really
ones I
cool.
collected. I just came across recently. That one is actually made from the wrestlers Matt Cardona, used to be Zack Ryder, and
Yep.
Brian Myers. They have their own podcast, the Major Bros podcast,
Yep.
and they've you can just slide the back of it out. Actually, it's very easy.
No, I see that. What I
Oh, I know,
love
it's-
though, what I love looking on the back is that there is a Marty Jannetty figure.
No.
And they're never going to get a Shawn Michaels.
No, never. No, the rights that they've gotten from these families and from the wrestlers is amazing, and these replicate the ones like we grew up with.
Yeah.
In
And that's
fact,
what I love.
I have one. I'll show you the one I have. I just got to run and go get it.
Yeah.
But I almost thought they have Andre the Giant. They
have
have
so on the back it's Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, Axe and Smash from Demolition.
Okay, they are showing the Demolition one, yeah.
Which look great. Sergeant Slaughter, Marty Jannetty, Ric Flair, but in a suit.
Like a suit, yeah, like
Not
very like
the suit that he
70s
used to wear.
Flair, yeah.
Andre the Giant and Macho Man Randy Savage. That is amazing. Absolutely
but
amazing.
no, that list has like doubled. Now they have LOD. Yeah. They have, I think they got the Bulldogs. Let me go grab you the one that I have. Hold on.
All right, you go grab the one you have. And yeah, this is really cool. I'm glad he didn't get me Marty Jannetty. That would have driven me crazy to get Marty Jannetty and not have a Shawn Michaels to go with the Marty Jannetty,
I know it's
which
not,
would have been
I'm sorry,
crazy. No, what I was saying is I'm glad you got me this one and not the Marty Jannetty one, because it would have driven me crazy to have that Marty Jannetty without a Shawn Michaels.
They actually a fun fact on great page to follow on YouTube, WWE Vault.
Mm-hmm.
It's from WWE,
yeah,
but they are pulling the most abstract stuff out of the archives to show. But they just posted up the match from Raw when Marty won the Intercontinental title from Shawn.
Nice. That was a great episode. That was a great.
Actually, tonight from when we're recording, I think they're. I mean, you can watch it on Peacock, but they're dropping an old episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. Trust me, Ed, you would love. It's such old stuff, and a lot of it is just so obscure.
Yeah. Well, the older stuff is the stuff I always love going back to. The second they drop that New York Royal Rumble from '94, you have to let me know.
I'm waiting because they dropped the Shotgun Saturday Night from Penn Station, the full episode. Full episode.
I remember that.
Which I didn't realize at one point in the
amazing.
beginning, some kid reached over and I guess like grabbed Sonny or something, because you hear her start yelling at the kid before they muted her mic. Anyway, big shout out to Lost Toys and Comics out in Miller Place, because that's where I picked up these guys, the big rubber guys, but this is the one I have for me.
Oh God, with the face paint.
This is like a variant.
Yep.
It's not even like
that's really cool.
Yeah. So
really cool.
Like
that would be there's the updated one. That would be, and I'm gonna call it right out. That would be SummerSlam '89 when he teamed up with Demolition to take on the Twin Towers and Andre the Giant.
Absolutely. That was great. The Jesse Ventura is like, that's a disgrace to the flag. The only thing missing is the crown that was on top of the
crown. Yes, because he was king. He was King Duggan at the time.
Actually, also side note, Jesse Ventura is going to be doing commentary on the new Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, that's or will have done it on the 14th, which already passed.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, I loved going to Saturday Night's Main Event.
Wasn't it great? It was
Nassau
amazing.
Coliseum was rocking that night.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Tickets were expensive. All right, so you got your gift. This is the one that Anthony got me. And I don't. There's so much little stuff in here.
Yeah, there are a lot of little things. So
any of them the pocket watch?
The pocket watch that got stolen out of the. No, unfortunately not. I still have mine though, and I'm very happy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. In fact,
I would.
if you look over my right shoulder, this side to the top
Oh,
shelf,
there it is.
it's sitting right there.
So Anthony bought this Mario pocket watch for me. It's like, yeah, I'll mail it to you. Yeah, it's stolen in the mail.
It got well. Let's rephrase. They opened the box, stole the watch, and then closed the box up and sent it to you. Like they just took the watch and left you the empty case.
I might still have the empty case. I think I might have kept it for prosperity. All right, let me. I mean, none of them are labeled, but is there any sort of order with these things? I can't even imagine what they are, to be honest with you.
Not necessarily.
All right, so let's.
I think you'll enjoy them all.
Okay, here we go. The fun of unwrapping stuff live. Whoops.
Yes,
but they're also
especially when you're opening it off camera.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Oh, wait a minute. This looks familiar. Oh, this isn't one of yours, is it?
It is not.
Ms. Pac-Man on the 5200.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They had 2 copies, and I had to get you one because I know how much you love Ms. Pac-Man.
Love Ms. Pac-Man, and you still have the high score on my Ms.
Have
Pac-Man.
the high score on your arcade 1-up, and that will forever remain.
Unfortunately, yes. Oh,
And
another one. Wait.
And if you ever beat it, give me a call, and I'll do it.
You're gonna make me buy this system, aren't you?
I might.
Oh, wow. Popeye on the 5200.
Yes. The unfortunately the label's not in the best
That's
condition.
okay.
It was the only one they had.
That's okay. That shows some love. I like that. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
I know how much you love Popeye as well.
I love Popeye. Absolutely love Popeye.
Yeah.
All right. What we got here then? This, I guess, is Atari at this point. I don't know. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Okay. It's an N64.
Well, I know how you want to build up. Like you have an analog
do.
3D coming, so I wanted to grab a couple of N64.
No, that's awesome. I never played Wipeout 64.
Oh, it was fun.
Oh man, I can't wait to do that. I'm guessing this is also a N64.
Is that the last one?
Yeah, because then there's like a double one or something like that. There's like this thicker one.
I don't remember which one. Open the double one first.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. There's one that I wanted you to open last, and so far you're doing a good job. So
I don't know if this is the one you want me to open. All I did was tear off the corner, and I know what it is. Oh, wait a minute. That might not be the same. Wait,
I think I did want you. No, I think I did want you to open that one last, but it's okay.
What's this?
Go for it. Just go for it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Oh, that Donkey Kong 64, which I've been debating. But now that you got this, wait, this week they're going to drop this on Nintendo Switch. Just wait.
They probably are.
But this is awesome.
But you need cartridges for your analog 3D.
No,
so,
I never.
And the fact that and the fact that you just mentioned it on our last episode.
No, this was purchased before that?
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot where I am. Oh, this is another one I never played, and just watching the documentary, Tetrasphere.
Yep, that's why I grabbed that too, because I know how much you love Tetris. All right, so that was the one I actually wanted you to open. I forgot how I wrapped it, so I don't remember what the other one. I don't remember what the other one was.
Okay, this could be a couple of, again, all I did was open it and it's blue. Now, this could be a couple of different things. Either a very fun game that I never owned. No, I did own it on Super Nintendo, on N64. Or a terrible wrestling game that I've never owned before, and we're about to find out right now. It is the back of the game. It is a terrible wrestling game, but I absolutely love that I have it now. Backstage Assault on the N64.
I saw it and started laughing. I was like, okay, yeah.
Have to. Absolutely have to.
Had to get it to you.
Who the hell's on the cover? It looks like Goldberg.
I thought it was good. I think it's Goldberg doing the spear.
It might be flipping somebody over. I don't know what.
Yeah, something.
Oh my God. That's wow. This is very cool. 2 games for a system I don't have, which now you're going to make me buy, which is well worth it.
Which is fine. I have 11 for a system I don't have.
Well, 4 great games and now a mess. So
that's okay.
Oh wow.
Well, enjoy them all when the analog 3. Well, actually, you can play all of those games on your Nintendo 64 right now while you wait for the analog 3D to arrive.
I can, and then cancel my order. But I'm looking forward to using the Bluetooth controller for it. So
that'll be fun.
Is there anything else that you have planned, or is that That might
No,
be.
I've run out of things. I wanted to end on the good. Look, we can talk forever
We
about,
have.
and we have been talking forever. 400 episodes, an absolutely amazing ride every step of the way. I mean, and the only thing I have left to say is really thank you to you, because this is not something I ever would have thought about doing. Again, like we talked about, the sound of my voice, the way that I look, all of that stuff, never something I ever wanted to do. But getting the opportunity to do that with you, that was definitely an opportunity I never wanted to pass up. And again, and a testament to not an 8.5 year friendship, but a testament to a 30-year friendship. We've 3 decades. We've known each other for 3 decades.
Okay.
And, and me, I don't get personal about stuff. I really don't.
No, not at all.
It's not a thing that I do. But just for a little bit of just to peel back my own little curtain. But a lot of people don't know that I first met you shortly after my father died. So to think back to that time in my life and having met you then, it was a very fortuitous thing for me, because I definitely needed friends around me. And I never would have imagined 30 years later be sitting here with you, having spent the last 8.5 years talking to you almost every single week about a topic we both have loved and shared for 3 decades. And again, and for somebody who's moved as the number of times that I have over the years, that this has been the one constant that has been in my life for the last 8.5 years. And I can't imagine having that constant with anybody other than you. And for that, I can't thank you enough.
Wow. No, thank you. Thank you. That what you just said really hits me hard in a good way. Don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously I knew, your history and everything, but to hear that from you really, really is touching. So I appreciate that.
And that's all you're going to get for the rest of the friendship. You'll get no more of that.
That's it. Moving forward, folks, you'll never hear from Anthony again about himself. No. And doing this, you're right. And 30 years with or without this podcast, 30 years, still would be 30 years today. We might not have talked every week, but we do have that friendship though, where we don't have to do that. We have that friendship where even if we went a year, I'm being drastic, like a year without talking to each other, without saying a word to each other, and then we meet up again, we pick up right where we left off.
Oh yeah, no question.
That is the true sign of a true friendship. I will always cherish that. Being an only child, I have cherished friends, and I never had that many friends that I was able to keep close to me, where I felt like they were family, and not having any brothers or sisters. But you, and I can honestly say, are my brother, are my best friend. And your highs, your lows, I feel with you. I always have, and I always will. And I'm not saying anything, don't get me wrong, but
No.
your recent highs that you've had in your life, I'm so happy about. And for you, and then also with, where this podcast is going to be going, I'm looking forward to it, because I know how creative you are. And I know, fine, forget about the fact that you don't like listening to yourself or watching yourself, but knowing how creative you are, especially when we were growing up, the things we've done that involve creativity, just you're there. And I know, I know this show is gonna, show's gonna move on no matter what. But what you're gonna do with it, I cannot wait to see, because it's gonna be above and beyond better than what we've had here. And I mean that in a good way. And that's not a shot at me. That's not a shot at what we've done. And I can't, you're right, talking video games, because, we've had other co-hosts on and they were cool, but to do it for 8.5 years with anyone else, I can't imagine. So I truly appreciate you putting up with my nonsense, putting up with me not going to the Google documents, not constantly forgetting what they were. coming up on the fly with tangents that I know drove you nuts. And I'm not gonna lie, I love you. I saw it in your eyes every time I tried to go off and talk about something. I saw it there. And
you know me, I don't hide that stuff.
I know. But I truly love you, and thank you for allowing me, to be part of this, because you had to stick along with me as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I love you. And
Yeah, I love you too, man.
And with everyone out there who have listened, friends, family, Romans, countrymen, total strangers who have come up to us, who have come up to me. Forgive me, Ann, I'm gonna go a little, focus on me a little bit here, as the podcast should.
As you should.
Have come up to me all these years and, said, hey, I listened to the show. It's awesome. I had one of my bosses, I had a director of my job, my 9 to 5, who would come up to me and be like, hey, I listened to your show. I was like, uh-oh, what did I say? I hope I didn't say anything about the business. And he actually, in the beginning, he gave me some fun critiquing that to this day I try and still do, which I probably don't. So it's reached out to so many different places. The opportunities to go visit these stores like Game On, Tristan, Rob, who work there. Always, they become friends. Besides me giving them lots of money over the 8.5 years. And, that's not going to stop. My love of gaming is not going to stop just because I'm moving on to a wrestling podcast. But I want to thank everyone out there who've listened, and especially the last couple of weeks who have reached out to me. Again, friends, families, strangers who have said, I've been listening to you. Good luck. I'm sorry to hear you go, but, good luck with everything. That really got to me, and that made me feel good. So thank you, everyone. And, one of the final things is just, I hope that as you continue on, and I honestly don't know what you have planned as far as hosts or guest hosts or co-hosts. Don't let it be Frankie.
Don't let it be Frankie. Well, you can find out what my plans are if you ever figure out how to go to the Google Docs, because you're still on them.
Well, good thing I don't remember my password. Frank had a problem with the password.
That's right.
So again, thank you very much. It's been fun. And I know Ant said, I'll be popping up every now and again.
You will.
Episode 402. But in the meantime, thank you again. And again, Ant, one more time, thank you very much.
Thank you very much too, Larry. It would not be a podcast without you.
No,
but now it's going to be a podcast without you.
It's going to be a dedication to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
That's forward. My first episode.
You might as well just do a live play along. So, yes. Ant, thank you for everything.
Thank you as well.
You have a wonderful week.
You have a wonderful week. To everybody out there, really quickly, a very happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. This is our last show of the year. So we hope you had a wonderful 2024, and even better 2025. The Retro Gamers Podcast will return in January of 2025.
All right. Well, I guess for the last time with that.
Nope.
Well,
allow me, since you're not going to be here. So for the first time, I will see you next time and next year on the Retro Gamers Podcast.
Okay, Dave, I think the machine's working.
Great. Larry Mormon, this is Chris and Dave trying to reach you from the future. Larry.
Hey, what are you doing? You don't have to talk like that.
I'm trying to project my voice to help it go back in time.
It doesn't work that way. Look, we've got one shot at this. Talk normal, talk fast.
That's right. Hey, Larry, what's up? How you doing, man? It's good.
Larry, this is Chris and Dave, former middle-aged guys reaching out to you from the year 2038. Bad things are happening, Larry, and we need your help.
Larry, after you and Anthony stopped podcasting, the world forgot about the Virtual Boy and how bad it was.
That's right. And in 2036, Nintendo revealed the Virtual Boy 2.
Yeah. And things, they went bad.
It's changing people. They call it the VB2 virus. It transforms users into mindless monsters. They wander around the city aimlessly, devouring humans in parking lots and fast food restaurants. My son turned into an evil-looking Charizard.
Yes, and it gave you that ridiculous facial hair. Mine's on purpose. Listen, there are only a handful of us that are unaffected. More turn every day. Brazil is fine because they still play the Sega Master System, but the rest of the world, well, we need your help. We need you to come out of retirement for one last podcast mission to save the world.
Get back together with Anthony, restart the Retro Gamers, talk about the Virtual Boy a lot. Anthony will make fun of it, and you, mostly you, and Nintendo will never dare to release a follow-up.
Yep. Also, Larry, in 2029, Toys R Us comes back in a big way. You have a bad experience at the Flatbush store the first week it's opened, and somehow your mom gets the whole chain shut down again. So please, tell her to take it easy. We miss Toys R Us.
Help us, Larry Marmon. You're our only hope.